What's up? What's up? It's the Arthur Moats Experience with Deke. I'm Arthur Moats, and that's my main man, Deke.
What's good, dude?
Man, I'm just over here having a little bit of fun. You know, we hit them with the 4 o'clock start / 4:05 / we coming back to 4 o'clock. Iffy. So I had a little bit of fun with that, man. I can't complain. How about you, though, man? Everything good?
Oh, I'm excellent.
I like it. And before we even get this going, got to give a big time shout out to the man, the homie, Carry Me. Welcome to the upper room. Now, from my understanding is you were actually chatting with Carry Me earlier today, right? On one of your streams?
Yeah, he's on the Twitch stream.
Bro, that's a vibe.
Dude, this one was unique, too.
Mm-hmm.
Someone suggested, hey, throw Haskins in on your Steelers theme team. Now, the highest card they have for him is like a 79 or something.
Uh-huh.
Won one game, lost the second one in just devastating fashion. But it was fun. That's kind of what was going on. Carry Me was there. It was a vibe. It was a good time.
I like that, man. That's dope right there, man. Anytime we get that cross pollution, isn't that what you call it? Like cross pollution of the platforms or something weird like
well,
that. That's what they say.
That might be a phrase. I've heard cross-pollination before.
That too. I mean, that might be it too. I don't know. Hey, I'm just saying that they say it's something with the crossovers and stuff like that. So either way, man, that's a dope vibe though right there, man. So you were 1-1 on Madden that day, huh? Was Madden you were playing?
Yeah, I was playing Madden.
Okay.
I mean, having Haskins in at 79, I was the dog. I was the underdog.
Okay.
Trust me, going into that. And I put up a really valiant effort, but just couldn't pull through in the second game. It was unfortunate.
Okay. Now, Thomas Riley, he brought up something good right here. Shout out to you, Thomas, in the chat. And Moneybags, the Landon, AD, Steven Rose. We see y'all out here early, baby. Major love, Steel Nation 412 as well. And can't forget the homie Donald Copeland, John Vargas, Brent Me, what's happening, Thomas Riley, and Luke Walker. Yes, indeed. But Thomas says that we need a countdown for the start of training camp next. I was like, all right.
On the bottom, right?
Yeah, I think that's what he's referring to. Because right now we got the Steelers versus Cowboys, but it's official. We have the training camp schedule now. And shout out to the fact that fans are going to be allowed to be there. That information just dropped too. Was that last night? Yesterday, I felt like.
I think it was. You texted me, yeah.
Absolutely, man. So yeah, if y'all aren't aware of this, and we'll talk about this a little bit more later on once more people get on. But yeah, training camp, we already know is going to be held at Heinz Field this year, not at Latrobe at St. Vincent College. But fans are allowed to go, and it is free admission. All you have to do is make sure you have the mobile tickets on your phone. So starting July 10th, so that's tomorrow. I got to see what time. I think it's around like noon Eastern Standard Time, though. You'll be able to go up there and just reserve your tickets for, the free practices that will be held at Heinz Field. They said that's the only thing you have to do. Just make sure you have the ticket basically on your phone. So, yeah, make sure you check that out, though.
That makes up for it a little bit.
Heck yeah, man. I mean, shoot. If we talk about training, I like training camp at Heinz Field a lot better. It's a lot closer. The seats are a little more comfier. So, yeah, man.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
These are little essentials, man. Yeah. 10 a.m. Excuse me, 10 a.m. Shout out to you, Michael, for that. Yeah, so 10 a.m. tomorrow that we're making those things, man. And will they still be covering the first week of training camp? Well, we plan on covering training camp, but it's going to be a little bit different, though. It's not going to be on this whole, we're doing practice reports and all of that. We'll just, keep it updated and keep it, going as it goes. But yeah, man. So far, so good with that, though, man. But that was definitely good to see that, fans will be allowed at practices and that it's going to be free at Heinz Field. And it's multiple practices, not just one practice, because that was the other thing that it was in the past, just one open practice at Heinz Field. So I was definitely glad to see that, man.
Yeah, a percentage right off the top?
What percentage of what?
The practices.
I don't know how many practices there are, but I know it was probably like 15 practices that were like, no, it wasn't 15. It was probably 3, 6, 9. It was probably 10 to 12 practices that I didn't count the exact dates, but just looking at the amount of dates, because they were all in like sets of 3s for open practices, because they'll be at, training camp will be longer than what fans are able to come in and actually see. And that's no different than if it was at Latrobe. Yeah. It was plenty of practices that we've had that are closed to the public for various reasons, right? Whether it's scheduling, whether it's we're doing game prep.
Who knows if the Patriots are sending someone in?
Anything, right?
Yeah.
So that was the thing with that. But this year, they're definitely, I want to say it's around 9, it's between 9 and 12 open practices to the fans. Now I didn't look I didn't look at the time of day either. Matter of fact, I might be able to pull it up on my phone real quick. We'll see if technology works. All right, if technology works for the boy, then we shall have it. But if it doesn't, then I'm going to look to Deke and say, Deke, make it right, bro. Come on, man.
We got a lot of nice comments in the chat, though, saying,
there we go.
Best podcast. People are shouting you out. They didn't know you had all these tattoos, they're saying. Oh, you're showing off, yeah?
Yeah, I'm sort of a a tattoo fanatic. I love ink. In fact, I have a little bit of a dilemma because I want to have like another sleeve I want to do on my leg, but I'm trying to time it up around like my vacation. And I feel like I've like put it off a little bit to where
you're doing a sleeve on your leg.
Yeah, well, I already have like leg tats as well, but
Yeah.
I want to do like a sleeve on my leg. But the thing is, because my trip is towards the end of this month, if I start my sleeve now, is it going to be fully healed by the time I go on my trip? And I don't want to really have to deal with a healing tattoo while you're out the country.
It's not going to be ready, you're saying?
I don't feel like it's going to be 100% ready. That's the thing. It might be finished, but not completely healed. And that's the difference.
You could get away with it, but you're going to have to worry about it too much.
Right. And I don't want to have to worry about it in terms of, keeping it clean, making sure it's healing properly, not too much sun, not too much salt water and things like that. So
I get what you're saying. What were you were asking about the schedule?
Yeah, so actually I have it right here.
Is it the one with Ben on it with TJ Watt? This is the infographic they put out on Twitter.
Yeah, okay, yep, that's it then. Yeah, because I had the different looking version of it. It was like way more words and stuff. So yeah, can you read off how many dates was it up there that are open to the to the fans?
I'll show you. This is the one for everyone.
Let me see. Go up to the top, please. Practice dates.
Who's coming to Steelers camp?
That's it then.
Like they wouldn't put those dates
Correct,
if they're saying who's coming to Heinz Field.
Those
so
are the
July 28th,
ones. Yeah.
July 29th, July 31st, August 2nd, 3rd, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 14th, 17th, and 18th. That is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 12. Yeah.
12. Oh, all right, so I was close. All right.
Yeah, all 1:30 time slots except for the last two. It's 12:15 and 12 o'clock.
Man, so no Friday night lights this year is what it sounds like then, because that was another big training camp staple, right? The Friday night lights where they would practice at oh my goodness, it's Arnold Palmer Field. So it's called Greater Latrobe High School, but it was Arnold Palmer's practice field. I guess his football field. He like paid. He sponsors the field.
Did he used to hit chips on that field or something?
No, apparently, I don't know if they said he went to the high school there or what, but that's the whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's called Greater Latrobe High School, but I always see the Arnold Palmer stuff when I'm going in there. But yeah, so that's dope though, man. That, like I said, no Friday night lights, but that's a ton of open practices, especially coming off of a year where we didn't have any of that. So I like that, man.
Yeah, and everyone was bummed about Latrobe not getting the same treatment of training camps in the past.
Mm-hmm.
This makes up for it. If I don't know what percentages of people are allowed to go, but did they put a capacity on it?
They haven't put a capacity on it. So from my understanding is just, as long as you go up there and you reserve your spot, they're going to keep it open. And clearly they got enough space at Heinz. It's not like we're talking about a limited capacity
Here's the question.
stadium.
Here's the question.
Mm-hmm.
If someone makes the trip out for this training camp, does it count?
Oh, that's a good question. Did you make the trip to Mecca if it wasn't at the real Mecca?
Or does this one count more? Because
I don't know.
It's at actual Heinz, and they may not be doing it at Heinz ever again.
I feel like because you got to get to Latrobe, and Latrobe isn't easy to get to. It's not like, we're just going to fly into Pittsburgh and just, it's right here. It's like you fly into Pittsburgh, then you got to drive over there. Like, it just takes a little bit more. The hotel situation isn't the same over there as it is here. Like, it's something about having to go to Latrobe.
It's not only inconvenient for the players, but also inconvenient for the fans. Everyone's in on it together.
Think about when you're trying to get to actual practice, how long those lines are on the street with those cars. It's been plenty of times we're driving by and we're cutting it close, right? Because we might have either overslept or decided to have a little late lunch with the fam, right? Not speaking from experience, of course not. But you're hitting it and you're looking at that line of about 100 cars backed up and you're like, gosh, I'm going to have to go to this other entrance real quick. Yeah, I mean, there's something about that. Like, you can't get that at Heinz Field. Can't get that at Heinz Field, man.
Okay, so you got to come back.
I feel like it counts, but you put an asterisk next to this one. It's kind of like, I mean, okay, the bubble championship. It counts, but it still is like, we're always going to refer to it as the bubble championship, right? It doesn't hold any less weight, but it's the bubble championship. It's not where you had to go on the road and come back and forth. So it's just a little different. Still counts, but different. So you come into Heinz Field training camp, it still counts. But if you need to make that trip to the real Mecca, you need to really go down to Latrobe and hit up Dino's and Sharky's. Like, if you haven't had that, then you haven't really had the full.
I think
situation.
You're right. I think you're right,
saying, man.
Yeah, you could come to this one just if you have free time. Mm-hmm. You're out of town, whatever it is, and you want to make a little trip, but don't forget about the real thing.
Yeah, man.
If you haven't done it before,
man. Yeah. Yes, indeed, man. And shout out to Brendan Matthews right here. He says, "Love the show, fellas. just went to Mars a few moments ago.
Damn.
Now I'm finishing up writing my short story / screenplay. I tell you what, they say the best ideas, the best productions have a little bit of that Mars visitation in them, man. That's all I'm saying, baby. Now, I do a lot of research. I'm not speaking from personal experience, but I do a ton of research on these things. And I've heard that, and I've found it to be pretty true when, I get to researching this stuff. So shout out to you for that, man. And I also saw where they were asking about you and your tattoos, man. Do you have any ink? Do we got tatted Deke? We know we got taco meat Deke. We got big Deke and we got small Deke energy. Do we have tatted Deke energy? Is that a vibe just yet?
I do not.
Not yet.
No,
okay.
no tattoos.
So we've seen one eyebrow before we've seen a tattoo. That's interesting. I like it.
Unfortunately, I got to let people down easy here a little bit. I probably will never get a tattoo in my life. Unless somehow, some way, who knows, years down the line, I'm making a bet. And somehow I got to pay up for that. But I do not plan on getting any tattoos. Yeah. I like tattoos, though. Yeah. I really like the show Ink Master. I think I've said this before.
Yeah, we've talked about that.
And if I were to get a tattoo, I would just get a full sleeve. Yeah. I'd make it really cool.
Piece, yeah.
But that's a big commitment. I'd rather just be a tattoo for maybe like 5 years or a year, and then it washes away. But tattoo your whole life, I don't know if I could sign up for that right now.
Man, I agree. I can see. I could definitely understand that. It's funny. I'm over here trying to focus on you while in the background I got my favorite Conor McGregor over here, giving me that full fighting Irish pride in the background right here. He's about to throw this kick at Dustin real quick, man. We multitasking here every once in a while. But I agree, though, man. I agree. You don't have to get a tattoo, man. Let me be the tattoo guy,
Yeah. I don't want to steal your shine.
Right. You're the beard guy. You're the taco meat guy. My taco meat don't show like your taco meat. My beard don't get like yours. And for some reason, both my eyebrows tend to stay here. So it's just one of the things.
Yeah, it's just something I never really got around to or wanted to do.
But it's all love. And Matt McKissick, man, shout out to you as well, man.
He's getting aggressive with this comment.
I haven't even, because I haven't updated my scroll just yet because I wanted to get it. But he says, hit that like button from every angle. 100. I agree with you, Matt. Hit it from every angle. Yes, indeed. And Papi Chulo, welcome to the Upper Room. Yes, indeed. And for those that are members of the Upper Room, I did drop a surprise vid on y'all last night, man.
It's a good vid.
A little rib action, man. Getting our smoke on, chefing it up. And shout out to the homie right here, man. Making dreams come true, baby.
Well, I bought some of the ingredients. I think it's going to push me in the right direction. Now, I might just put them on like a rotisserie chicken I buy from Giant Eagle. Because wait, did you say what you did? Because
I did a little bit. Yeah, okay. Go ahead.
So I don't want to reveal too much.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Did you say it had to do with cooking?
Well, the Upper Room members have already seen it.
Okay.
The other people haven't seen it yet. They just know that it's a rib video, but they haven't seen like.
Oh, you said ribs? I was gonna say I didn't want to reveal.
I did say ribs, so we're good.
Specific food it was.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like to actually do the ribs.
Yeah,
man, that seems like it would take some time for me. That's on my lane. Maybe just get a rotisserie chicken. I'll just blend all those ingredients in and see if it works for that.
Just throw a little bit of the special sauce. You good, man?
Yeah, exactly.
I like it, man. And wow, I mean, this just happened right in the middle of it. I see you, John Doe, man. Looks like you visiting from outer space as well, baby. Greetings, Earthlings. Greetings. It's the only way to do it. But Darnell Harrison, shout out to you, Darnell Harrison, and welcome to the Upper Room. Yes, indeed. Now, Trina, the Still Diva, Trina Still Diva 5. She always is in here heavy every single time. Big time shout out. She says, I want to get 2 tattoos. My mom's name and 5'5", my dad's badge.
I thought it was for Moats.
I ain't gonna lie. I thought it was too for a second. I got a little hype. But that is awesome. Trina Still Diva. I think you should do those things, man. Because number one, they're both sentimental to you. They hold a special place to your heart. And they're dope. And you can never go wrong with a 5'5" tattoo. But I have seen someone actually get my autograph tattooed on them, bro.
Really?
I swear, yeah. I was
What was their like affinity to? Like, did they say like I watched you since Buffalo, I watched you since JMU?
So it was a lady I met here. This would have been my 3rd season because this year we were going to the SC Championship game. We hadn't played there just yet. That was the year we went to it though. But I do the youth football camps for the Steelers, right? So we're out there doing these camps, and obviously I've done them for a couple of years now. So I've seen her child kind of grow up and stuff like that. And she was like, yo, I just love watching you play. I love your energy when you come out here. You're always so personable. You're very fun. Like I feel like I just know you. And I'm like, yo, that's dope. Like it's a vibe. Like, because I'm just having fun, having a blast. And she says, she's like, she was like, I want your autograph. I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm like, yo, where you want me to sign it at? So I've signed like body parts before. And I mean, sometimes it's cool, but most of the time he's like, all right, whatever. Like, I'm gonna sign it. It's cool for the moment, but we ain't gonna worry about it. So she's like, I want you to sign me. I'm like, all right, cool. I got you. Where at? She's like, on my ankle. So, and now mind you, this isn't like a young, like younger lady. This is probably like 40s, 50s. Like she's older, not old, but older, like more mature. So she's like, yeah, man, I just love my stills. Like I'm so diehard about them. Like, so sign me right here on my ankle. So I'm like, all right, bet. So I signed the ankle. All right, cool. I'm not thinking anything else about it. Literally, she comes back the next day. She's like, hey, look. Boom. I'm like, oh. So you know me, I takes the picture because I'm like, y'all ain't gonna ever believe this. So I took the picture of it and everything, man. But yeah, she's forever like, we're linked now, man.
That's really cool. Remember the dude had the Juju tat on his head? Yeah. It was the guy he made waves that offseason. He was all over the news. He actually was showing up to our tailgates. Yeah, man. Because he legitimately got the free tickets from Juju for doing that. Mm-hmm. And he was like, yeah, I'm just gonna be going to every game now because Juju's paying for my tickets. It was hilarious.
Man, it was a vibe, bro. It was like, that's one of them things, man, when you see somebody tattoo, like whether it's your name, your number, something about you, just like, bro, this is crazy.
I wonder how he was feeling about the Juju free agency stuff, or even how he's gonna be feeling going forward now.
But I think still though, when you get it, it was for that moment. We know that specific moment when it happened, it was legendary and forever, regardless of what Juju does, positively or negatively.
He's a Steeler for 5 years.
Yeah, and that story is always gonna be there. I mean, that's one of them epic, just perfect storm. You want to speak Steeler Nation? What is it? This is Steeler Nation.
Too bad it was for the Mason and Duck season though.
Yeah, it happens like that. Yeah, why you gotta kill us like that, Deke? Come on, man. Deke, we was trying to be happy today. You gonna hit us with that, man. We've been all over here on Mars, man. We living it up. Got people joining the upper room, man. The chat getting nice and percolated today, but you gonna hit us with the Mason and Duck. Golly, man. I appreciate you.
You see Carrie me making a comment here?
No, where are you at, man?
He says, been watching since 2019 season. It's hard to catch the lives because of my work schedule, but listen on Spotify. Keep up the good work.
Man, shout out. You know what? That's something that I always forget with us. Since we've transitioned to doing live shows, I totally forget. Well, not even just the live shows. When we really started to focus more on YouTube content, I really forgot about just the podcast only element of it. Like with the other shows that I do, because we don't have the video component, we're always pumping podcasts. Oh man, make sure you rating us on the podcast. You know, that's how it works with like Spotify, iTunes stuff. You always got to have the 5-star reviews. So I was like, man, I don't ever think about it. But you know, it's funny to hear him say that about the podcast and listen to it on Spotify. I'm like,
yeah, because like my cousin will listen in the car or something on the way to work.
Well, and if you look, people are still going in and reviewing the podcast. I totally forget just because we have so much fun with the YouTube crowd. Shout out to, this is actually y'all fault now that I think about it. Y'all make us have so much fun that we forget that we do have other ways that people can listen to this thing. I mean, we still make it available to them though. Shout out to the crew, you know.
Yeah, 100%.
It's a squad right here, man. Group effort. Never just one person.
Nah, you don't gotta credit me like that, dude.
Nah, man, I always give you your credit, man. I want you to get your roses while you're here. I'm not one of them guys that gonna give you roses when y'all gone. Man, I love Deke, man. Well, why you ain't tell him? I don't know. No, I'm gonna tell you why you're here. I'm big on that, man.
Thanks, dude.
Yes, indeed, baby.
We got someone from Norway tuning in.
Oh, from Norway? What?
Yeah.
Shout out to Norway. Where are you at? Because I am all over the place in this chat right now. It is.
I'm going to try to pronounce your name right. Victor.
Okay.
Gagne Knudsen.
All right.
First live I've joined across the pond in Norway. Shout out.
Shout out. Absolutely,
We also got Let's Go UW. UW's for Washington, correct?
No, Wyoming. Josh Allen.
Wisconsin.
It was Wyoming. It's definitely Wyoming. I remember this.
Hayden has a real nice sleeve.
Yeah. I remember this. Josh Allen. That's the only reason I'm gonna remember it from here on out.
You're
UW.
right. You're right.
But I see it now. Hayden has a real nice sleeve. No, shout out to hey man. Dude, you see his leg sleeve yet?
No.
It's like
he got leg
tribal.
sleeve.
It's like it's full leg, like from top of the quad down to his ankle. Has like lions' faces on it. It's almost like a jungle theme going down his leg. Like it is dope though, man. Yeah.
Is that what you're doing? Or are you just doing calf?
No, so for me, I'm doing the side over here because I already have the back of my calves done, and on my left leg I already have the side done. So yeah, I'm gonna figure I do the right side, something over here, then we'll start working on these quads and stuff like that, man.
Oh, so it's gonna be, this is a 4 or 5 year thing probably.
4 or 5 year thing? No, man. Dude, when I got
1
sleeved,
year.
Bro, when I got sleeved, I only got sleeved in the off season, bro.
Okay.
Like I had like little pieces here, like one tattoo here, one tattoo there. After 2014, when I saw my extension, I literally had like a stand-in appointment with my tattoo lady out here in Pittsburgh. Shout out to Amy, man. The Pittsburgh Tattoo Studio. She's a beast. But literally, I was in there every week from I signed my deal in March. So let's see, I was in there every weekend from March.
You didn't have your sleeves like that up in Buffalo?
No, I didn't. And I would always wear like half sleeves so you couldn't even see it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so for me, I was in there literally every weekend from March till probably May, because we started actually practicing in May. Because I remember still getting tattoos while we were just doing workouts. Yeah, and then from there, it was like, all right, full sleeve done, and I was good to go.
So for you, then, you just got to get your ideas all together.
That's my thing.
Once you got them, then you could just spend a few months and get them done.
I hate having to wait.
Okay.
I'm so impatient, man. But that was the thing with just figuring out what I wanted, because I didn't want to just get it for the sake of getting. I was like, I wanted to mean stuff and have different things and stuff like that. So that was the thought process with it, though, baby.
Oh yeah, definitely,
man. Right. And Vikesh says we all need to get tattoos of Deke's face.
I see that. Damn.
Like it. Oh, and shout out to ENJ.
I'd feel bad if anyone did that, honestly.
It says Brooklyn in the house. I like that. Yes, indeed. Hold on real quick, man.
You gotta get the towel.
What, man? My head got so hot all of a sudden, bro. I don't like being hot. That ain't cool, baby.
What was it? Just the run upstairs and back?
That might have been, man. I tell you, when I came out here, I was like, yo, I just ran. I was like, yo, I got a little warm in here, bro.
Yeah.
So who knows? But anywho, man, I like it. So let's see, man. Where do we start? First order of business. Do we get? Oh, it's no more super chats, right? Nothing else.
No, I'm not saying anything.
Okay, perfect. So let's get this thing rolling then. All right. So first time we got to talk about, though, man, that basketball game last night, baby. Dude, Suns up 2-0 right now?
Yeah.
Woo!
It's unfortunate for the series' sake, because it'd be nice if it went 7. It'd be nice if the Bucks would have won, make it a little more interesting series. Not saying it's not going to be interesting for the next few games, but there's a little bit of a buzzkill to it right now.
Hey, you know who's hype right now? Your boy Manuel Molina. He put up here again, Suns in 4, baby, let's go. And he added Matt. Matt, he coming at your neck, baby. Seeing Steven saying Suns in 5. A lot of people say Mad 513 says Suns sweep it. So this is my thing. I don't think the Suns are gonna sweep. I do think that they'll win it. I don't think they'll sweep, though.
I don't either.
To me, like, when I still look at the Suns and their shooting, right? What they had, 23s they made yesterday?
Yeah.
We said in the first game, the reason why I didn't think that they would win that second one, or I didn't think they would sweep, I just didn't think they could shoot that good again. And now obviously Giannis looked even better, right? He went for 40 and 12 or something like that. 42 and 12. But the flip side was, you look at guys like Middleton, didn't really show up the same way. Drew Holiday, he played well in spurts, but as a whole didn't.
He was terrible in the first half.
Right,
like I don't know if it's like it seemed like he was getting unlucky, but he was also like he was terrible. Yeah,
and then obviously people were getting on Budenholzer and the lack of adjustments a little bit once again, because I felt like initially he had a cool plan, but once you saw that, okay, it's not going to work, you got to change, you got to make some adjustments, and that's another thing that Budenholzer was struggling with. But to me, the only reason why I still, like I said, I don't think the Suns are going to sweep them. Devin Booker and Chris Paul, they're playing at a crazy high level. Even when Devin is off a little bit, he's still finding ways to just score, even going to the mid-range, right? The lost art. Everybody doesn't, I thought it was only 3-pointers, right? Shout out to the anti-analytics crew out here, man.
Yeah.
But seeing those guys play like that, and that was even with DeAndre Ayton having a quote-unquote bad game, I still don't think that they're going to be able to give me that again, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, with both of those guys being on to that extent, while having Chris Middleton be off, while having Drew Holiday be off, while, you know what I mean? I just don't see them being able to do that again. I think that when it goes back to Milwaukee, this is probably the game where the Bucks do get this first win.
The thing about Paul and Booker, though, you trust them way more than Middleton and Drew Holiday. I don't know.
For a fact. Yeah.
We've seen them go back and forth a little bit. Drew Holiday's had a much worse postseason. Overall, Middleton's been a little bit more up and down, where he's had some really nice highs.
Yeah.
Drew's hit some shots here and there.
Middleton had some really good moments, too.
Sure.
Really good moments.
But I don't trust those dudes to necessarily just get back for next game.
Yeah.
They could be in this slump for next game, and I wouldn't be surprised. They could bounce back, and I wouldn't be surprised either. With Booker and Paul, they're at least going to give you a certain level of play.
True.
Where the Suns are going to be in it.
Like even if Chris Paul isn't hitting his shot, he still facilitates and creates points. if Devin Booker isn't hitting the 3 ball, he can still get to the line and he's going to cash out. He can still find a way to get to the mid range and get buckets. So without a doubt, that's the part that's interesting. Now, I want to see what DeAndre Ayton does though, because this is another reason why when we talked about it a little bit last podcast when we were just saying, sometimes you get these lucky matchups, right? This guy's injured, that guy's injured. When you was like, yo, is DeAndre Ayton the top 5 center or something like that, right? And we're just saying, well, man, you catch this guy, you know, if they're injured, you don't get to face them, you can dominate the rest of that series. So what happened in this series in game 1 versus game 2? Game 1, DeAndre played really well against Giannis, right? Defensively, he held his own. He wasn't dominant, but he held his own. Offensively, was aggressive. His energy looked good, and you saw him put up a nice game, right? We was over here like, you even said it yourself, top 5 center. What does he do game 2? And this was the point that I was getting at. Giannis responded. Giannis
looks healthy.
Giannis said, okay, you got buckets. They talked about you. You supposedly slowed me down and all this stuff. Giannis went right at him from the beginning of this game all the way to the end. And your boy, I mean, he turned it down. We could all agree. He did not match that energy at all. He had to double-double to 10 and 11. It was quiet, though. And to me, that's why I can't just say he's a top-tier guy just yet, because how do you match up for 7 games like this? You can do it in that first game, cool. Or you might do it against a team where their star is injured. But let me see 7 games where this dude is a dog and he's coming back at you. We haven't seen that from him just yet. And yesterday was not a good look for him. So I want to see in this third game how he responds as well, man.
To that point, though, Giannis just really stepping up.
He did, bro.
What sucks about it, though, I think this is just who Giannis is, though. And this is why he's probably never going to be looked at like LeBron James or KD. I don't even know if you want to throw Kawhi Leonard in there. But I think like his all-time status is probably always going to be capped, where he may never reach past the top 15 or maybe the top 12. Mm-hmm. Just because late in games or shooting threes, shooting the deep shot, especially in today's NBA, and shooting free throws.
Dude,
as much as he was just dominating this game and had a really big game, like really impressive. It was a historic game. Man. Like missing those free throws, missing some of these shots, it kills the vibe a little bit sometimes.
It takes the air out of you when you see him airball from the free throw line. It takes the air out of you when you see him miss.
Because those are shots, it's like we should be coming back. Like these should be easy points now, so we're closing the gap.
When he misses, bro, it's like terrible misses, man. Like that's the part for me. And think about this, right? For Giannis from the free throw line, he probably would have said he did great. He missed 7 free throws.
Yeah.
7. That's a ton of free throws in the NBA. But for Giannis, because he's so bad from the line, we're like, yo, he actually did all right from the line. And that includes an air ball. Like, that's the part for me where when I see Giannis, I think, which I agree with you, man, it's always going to feel a little weird with him, man, because like you said, man, you can't hit free throws. You miss badly from 3-point. And it just seems also that when it's time to have one of those, gotta have it, I need to pull up and hit a jumper. It's just not there.
It's just not his game.
Right. And you see he has to defer to Middleton in some of those situations. But then it's like with Middleton, is it streaky and hot Middleton? Or is it Middleton that showed up last night? And when you get that, and that's with number 2 like him, because we all said that he's a great number 2. He's just not a number 1. That's kind of what you deal with players like him, man.
You're saying Giannis isn't a number 1?
No, I said Middleton. So I said, so what I was saying was when Giannis can't get that jumper, right? He can't hit that 3. He has to defer to Middleton because Middleton can create and can still shoot the shot. But if you're not getting the streaky hot Middleton and you get the Middleton that showed up last night, you get the performance like last night where Giannis goes crazy. But when it's time to have it, you never feel like he's going to be able to do enough to close it, to close that gap, man.
Yeah, because you think about Shaq. Like, he had Kobe for the championships. He had D-Wade for the championship down in Miami.
Yeah.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, whenever he's winning all those championships with the Lakers. Magic Johnson. I'm trying to think of other big men. Hakeem Olajuwon, I don't know what their roster construction was completely. Like, he was the main guy. But I'm sure we're talking about, like, the 2, 3, 4 guys. Yeah. At least they were making shots when they needed it.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Now, let's see, because... Let's see, where is it? Oh, so Juicebox. Yeah, Juicebox, he has said that thinks that this offseason Giannis needs to focus on his jumper and also focus on defending the best guy every game. Do you think that would get him in that conversation of LeBron James and Kevin Durant as well?
I'd say free throws first because those are free points.
Okay.
Because he could, dude, he just put up 40 something and only hit 1 3-pointer yesterday.
Dude, you know, the funny thing was he joined the list of like literally 4 other players that have scored 40 plus points, 10 plus rebounds, and lost in a finals game. You know who else has done it, right?
LeBron was one of them.
And actually, it wasn't just a finals game. No, it was a finals.
Was it finals or playoff?
They might have said playoffs, but I want to say it was finals though, if I remember correctly, because LeBron was
3
up
of them.
there. Yeah, it was 3 guys.
LeBron was one of them for sure. I don't remember the other 2.
KD was the other one. Yeah, they said with KD, LeBron, Giannis, and I'm drawing a blank on the 4th. The 4th was an older guy though.
Okay.
Yeah, but those were the guys though, and I was like, yo, that's nuts. But to me, when I think of Giannis in those scenarios versus those other guys, it always just feels different when you think of, all right, these guys can still come out and hit jumpers and late in the game. So even if they're not getting to the rack, they're still able to be a factor. We know it's certain defense you could play versus Giannis where they pack the paint and he becomes irrelevant. We saw Brooklyn use it. We've seen plenty of teams use it. And that's the part where I just feel like he's always going to come up short in that conversation. Now, going back
because he's borderline unstoppable when he's driving the lane. Like you have to foul him.
Absolutely. But the problem now is he doesn't hit. It's kind of like the Shaq when you play Shaq, right? The hack of Shaq. I mean, they're not doing that to the full extent, but anytime he gets in the paint, you see they're content with just fouling him instead of allowing him to, get these layups and easy dunks off. But what I wanted to ask you though, going back to the free throws, now Trina's still Diva 5. She brought up this. She says she thinks that the counting at the free throw line is still throwing Giannis off.
It might be.
But now this is the thing that I wanted to get your thoughts on, and y'all in the chat as well. Giannis said in the interview post-game after game 1, he said that the counting doesn't bother him. He said, in fact, it kind of goes away and he's just going up there and just relaxing and shooting. He did say early on, though, like in that Brooklyn series, he said it definitely bothered him. He was like, yo, I would hear the count, I would think about it, and it would mess me up. But he was like, now it's kind of just noise. He says that, but I still don't necessarily believe it. But maybe he just doesn't shoot. I think he's just not a good free throw.
That's what I mean. If anything, there has been a little bit of an improvement, but that doesn't say too much. That doesn't mean too much.
I was gonna say he doesn't look scared to shoot him now. Because remember we said with him and Ben Simmons, we said at times like they were both just scared to even go to the ball to even get fouled. More so Ben than Giannis. But now at least Giannis is still playing aggressive, and he doesn't like wear it on his face as bad now. So that is a plus. But that's something he got to get better at, man. It's just crazy to think.
Yeah, because that's 7 free points right there. I get if you miss 1 or 2, but
the thing also, like, think about how it changes the dynamic. Like if I'm playing you,
even Luka was doing that in his playoffs too. Like it kills the vibe a little bit.
It does,
because
man.
Like those are free points. Those are points that you should be hitting so you could close the gap and build the momentum for your team.
Either close the gap or increase your lead. Now, something else that was talked about today as well was and Matt McKissick. Trust me, we gonna get you, baby. We that for certain is getting talked about today. So those that don't know,
he mentioned my name.
Yes, Matt McKissick says that Tana Bum wants to bench Ben for Deke this season. Shout out to that. But trust me, we gonna get to that. That's coming up soon. All right, we ain't there just yet though, but it's coming soon. But yeah, man, we might have to. Deke, how you throwing on? Is it good? Keep that thing loose. Like remember the little Cam Newton commercial? I'm just warming up my arm, baby. So just warm your thing up, man. You already got the beard growing in, but we're gonna get to that in a little bit. Matt. But going back to excuse me. Oh man, that just made me lose my train of thought. I was laughing at that too much.
We're talking about Giannis.
Oh yeah, all right.
People are talking about the free throws a little bit.
Yeah,
jumpers. What could he work on in the off season? Anything coming back to you?
No. But what I was saying, to me, I was just saying it was just still funny to me that for him to be as dominant as he is, but to still see him struggle that much from the free throw line, like it's just crazy to me at times, man. I just like you typically don't see a guy that's able to dominate the game like how he dominates it, but still not be able to be a little bit more consistent from the line. But now I do remember what I wanted to ask you though.
Okay.
So this narrative was brought up last night after they started showing some of the clips of Giannis trying to motivate his teammates, right? Did you see it where he's like, oh, yeah, come on. And obviously PJ Tucker isn't paying attention. Drew hits him with the, yeah. And he's like, yo, he ain't really vibing with him. So they were just basically saying, do you think Giannis is that like leader of that team, or do you need a legit like motivator, alpha type dog, like how Chris Paul is, right? You see when Chris Paul speaks, like all of those guys listen. Obviously, we know when LeBron does it. KD is another guy, right? Draymond isn't the best player on that team, but we know he gets those guys motivated. He gets them going. It's not like Steph does his thing, but Draymond is the heart and soul, right? So with Giannis, do you think he's capable of being that, or do you think they need to have another guy in there?
No, I think he is. I think what hurts him is his game, just because he can't naturally close out these games for the team.
Yeah.
So that hurts him a little bit. But also, I don't think with Chris Paul, I think we would have said he's a leader throughout most of his career, especially when he went to the Clippers. But we start seeing some of those collapses, and then when he goes to Houston, were people necessarily calling him this great leader then? I think they were talking about Harden tuning him out and stuff.
But no, in Houston, though, he got a lot of love because he was about to lead them to the championship. Remember that. They had that 73-9, or the 73-9 Golden State team on the ropes as well, and then he got hurt. So I thought that year people were just pointing to more so how him and Harden were able to coexist, and ultimately, because they were saying how Harden's ball dominant and obviously Chris Paul's ball dominant, how would those two play off? But they were saying with Chris Paul out there, it did kind of work out like that.
I feel like it's the outcome, though, because if they win that game, you're looking back on that and saying, like, oh, man, Giannis is just really into it. You're not as much paying attention to what the other players' reactions are. What I liked about it is just he's showing he cares now, how the players respond. That's a different thing.
Yeah, he does care. I just don't think he can motivate on it. That's the thing that I'm trying to figure out. Like, it's certain times in a game where you got to have it and you need your guys to rally around you.
I know. That's what I mean. I think the game part of it is the tough. Like, Giannis isn't able to translate the talk necessarily to the game, whereas, like, LeBron's like, hey, stay here with me. Like, you could see him start carrying you in the fourth.
He'll go out here and hit 2-3 jumpers.
Kobe, D Wade in his prime.
Hit him a 3. Yeah,
there's certain players that could do that. Yeah. Like, a great comparison for Giannis is Shaq. Like, different personalities, but like, is Shaq the one motivating the team like that?
Because Shaq was the dominant dude. Like, you knew Shaq don't have to hit free throws. He's still gonna drop 50. He gonna give you 50.
But was he? That's what I mean. Was he talking to his team like that? I feel like Kobe was probably the guy in the huddle.
I'm trying to think back.
I don't know. I'm just throwing this out there.
Because for me, when I think of Kobe and the chain, I think of him with Paul Gasol and how he was leading those guys. I don't remember him as the, like, because I remember obviously they had Fisher as well. Fisher was a leader on that team. Sure. I'm thinking like, and Robert Ory and all those. I'm just like, I don't remember like Kobe being, because Kobe was young. Kobe was young then.
Yeah, but he would still get on Shaq for being overweight and not practicing. That's what I mean. I don't think Shaq was like this big vocal leader and
you might be
telling
right
people,
that,
hey, we got to do this, do that. He was just amazing.
I just don't remember. Now, what I was gonna say, and to this is you, not this is to you, but for Molina, Manuel Molina, he says if you need motivation, get off the court. Not necessarily disagreeing with that, but what I am saying is,
do you trust your guy
in terms of it's something about momentum, right? We all can agree that momentum is a real thing. Momentum comes from you motivating these guys, though, and you can motivate them and create that momentum by you creating the spark. Think about Big Ben, right? He doesn't have to come out here and give us this long speech, but if he comes out here and he hits a couple of daggers, we're all motivated by that. I didn't need any extra motivation, but it gave me that extra boost. And then that ultimately does carry over and helps you out. So that's the only thing with that. I don't think that Giannis needs to be the guy rallying the troops all the time, but I do think in a moment how it was last night where they're kind of on that cusp of 6 points, 8 points, 7 points. And you know, man, if we could just get these guys to rally, if I can get the guy who probably isn't the best on the team, but if I can just give him enough to make him confident enough to hit that one shot that I might need, that's what we're talking about. And for Giannis, it just doesn't seem like he's able to have that same type of impact. And typically with your superstars, like how he is, typically that does follow suit. Like when KD gets hot, like we said, we start seeing everybody hit shots. When Bron gets going, you start seeing everybody get going. But right now with Giannis, we really haven't seen that consistently just yet.
That's an interesting point because he's still balled out. That's the thing. I don't know if that type of play, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it should inspire, but I think there's something to been there, done that.
Oh, they sick.
What happened? Well, because you got to think. LeBron's been there. Steph's been there.
I'm laughing at you, Richard, just so you can know I'm laughing at you.
KD, like, I think those are the guys you would trust. Like, if you haven't been there, maybe there's something to CP3 just because he's been in the league so long. He's been there, done that, and you saw the impact he's made immediately on teams. And my point I was making earlier, I think people start getting, like, sour on him for some reason after a long time, like with the Clippers and then Houston in that second year.
Well, I know they did say this has changed for him now, but I know early on when he was with the Clippers, when he was with Houston as well, they say he was definitely more of a tyrant style leader versus now they say he's softened up a little bit. Whereas obviously, like, for example, when we talk about the tyrant style, like LeBron is the complete opposite, right? They get on LeBron because they say he's too friendly. Whereas with Chris Paul, they were saying that he was, being a what I'm trying to think. What was it? Rhymes with stick, but begins with the letter D. So yeah, in fact, it's French for Deke's nickname. But that's what they would say he would act like towards, his teammates, and that's a big reason why they said that they would sour on him after a year of that, because that's not fun at all. But now they said he's a lot more understanding to the guys. He's a lot more empathetic to them.
That's what I mean.
Being more, I don't know if it's because he's older now.
I do think a big part of that's what he did with OKC though. For people to see what he did last year, that was supposed to be the worst team in the league, and they got the 5th or 6th seed, almost won the first round. I think that's a big changing thing for now. The Suns see Chris Paul, they're like, oh, he did that with that team last year.
Nobody expected him to do anything in Phoenix either. We were all looking like, oh, I guess Phoenix gonna be bad, and then they got him the 1 seed.
Yeah, because they were hot at the end of the bubble. No one really knew if that was real, but then I think we knew they were going to at least make the playoffs. But to go on this run, it has been impressive, and everyone's bought into Chris Paul. Yeah. So with Giannis, it's tough. I think the game is part of it, but also if somehow he won the finals, then I'm sure his voice carries a different weight like next season. I just like that he cares. Yeah, that's my main thing. If he wants to become a better leader, I guess the main thing would be to improve your free throws next year, and like they're saying, and improve your long range game. Because if people start seeing that, like, all right, he's bought in, and then he can start doing this.
When he hit that 3 in the 4th, we were all kind of like, yo, if he could do that again,
sure,
that changes stuff.
And when he hits them, they look good.
Right? It's either a beautiful make or a horrendous miss. He's no in between. That's It's like he puts his whole hand wrapped around. Have you seen him when he like? It's weird, bro.
Like, I'd rather have what Giannis was doing than what we've seen from like James Harden sometimes.
See, I think with James though, it's more fatigue related, whereas I think with Giannis it's just skill. I think with James, because when he was in Houston, he would do it by himself for so long during the regular season. He's burnt out by the time you get to a 7-game series. And in a 7-game series, it's a lot harder because guys get familiar. They can study you and figure out, okay, if this is what he does well, we're going to make him do everything else but this. And when you're tired at the end of it, man, and you're going against some good teams, it would always catch up to him. And I think that was the thing that hurt him more. Whereas with Giannis, it just looks like a lack of skill right there. I don't think it's a fatigue thing. I think it's just skill. Whereas with Ben, it's more mental. We've all seen the videos. I mean, he can hit, he can shoot.
Yeah.
In practice. It's just different when it's game time.
Maybe a little bit with Harden, like attitude though too.
Oh yeah, definitely that. Yeah.
The one that sticks out to me, remember they were down like 25 or 30 points to the Clippers, then he sat on the bench and like didn't even care, and like they came back.
Yes.
Like that's a bad look.
Yes. That's not. It reminded me of like the Pippen look.
Like I could never see Giannis doing that. Like there's no way in hell.
I agree.
Like if he was benched for some reason, he'd be rooting his team on.
Yeah. But Giannis mentally just seems in a different place than those guys too. I don't know why. Like I know some people have brought up with him playing, overseas and stuff like that, and the same
him just Luka, being more like happy to be here. In a
whereas here in America, a lot more you see the attitudes and see how like ultra competitive guys are, and a lot more prideful as well. Not necessarily with the on court, but just I'm not wrong, or if you bench me, like, well, I'm not going to do anything for you. Then like we don't really see that with Giannis. So
yeah. That's a good point to bring up, though.
Man. So what you got for
because people were talking about it earlier today.
So before we get up out of here, then, well, not out of here, but before we transition to the next topic, what do you have winning tomorrow?
I don't like what I'm seeing from Drew and Middleton. I really don't. I don't think I could trust them. Now they're at home. But it's one of those things. I feel like the Suns are playing with house money. I'm gonna pick the Suns.
You going with the Suns? All right.
I don't think they're gonna sweep. They might though. I don't know.
If they win Game 3, I think they're sweeping, bro.
I'm going to pick the Suns just because I don't trust Middleton or Drew.
All right.
I hope the Bucks win. I hope the series goes 7 and it goes to like triple overtime.
John Doe says the Bucks going to need that crowd to get it done. Eli 421 thinks the Bucks take Game 3. Man, let me see. Manuel still saying Suns in 4. Let me see if anyone else has a prediction for Game 3 before I get mine. Oh, because you said you're going Suns.
I'm picking the Suns, yeah.
Everything in my heart tells me Suns, but I'm just playing law of averages here, and I'm like, this has to be the one that they win.
Yeah.
I don't feel like this is going to be any other one. This has to be it.
It has to be the one. Yeah, you're right.
Mr. Pitt still for life. Suns in 4. That's what you seem to me. Jacob, Suns in 6. Sharman, Suns in 5. I'm seeing a lot of Suns. Frank K. If Drew Holiday goes off, the Bucks will win. Do you feel like Drew is gonna go off though?
I don't. I have no faith in him.
I'm more confident in Middleton bouncing back than I am in Drew right now.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I'm not very confident in Middleton either.
I'm not
right
confident
now,
in that either.
sense.
That's what I mean. I just think the Suns, we know what we're going to get from those guys.
Caleb says Bucks take game 3. John Doe, I'm with you though. If they lose, it's a sweep. And Trina Still Diva says Bucks game 3. If they don't win, it's a sweep. Steven Carpenter says Bucks in 7. Whoa.
I'd love that. I'd love the turnaround. I'd like this to go 7.
Oh man. All right, let me think. All right.
You got to even think with the Suns, man. Just their whole roster. You know what they're doing. Like, Cam Johnson's going to hit a couple threes.
Team ball over there, man.
Bridges, he had a nice game, but he's going to get you something in the teens. He's a nice player.
Jay Crowder, he got a quiet 11. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
A quiet, just, all right. And he hit that mean pull-up at the end, too, in the 4th. That was clutch.
Yeah.
Off the CP3 pass. Oh. Do you think Booker is going to get cold? Because Manuel says that Booker's going to need to get ice cold for this to take place, for the Bucks to win.
He might, but I just trust him and Chris Paul over Middleton and Drew.
You know what? I'm agreeing with all of y'all, man. I'm going with the Suns getting it done in 3. Suns gonna get game 3, man. Suns gonna get game 3. All right, baby. So, you ready to go to this next topic, man?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, man. Next we got to talk about is TJ Watt, bro. TJ Watt, first off, because, you know, our boy Jeremy Fowler, he gave us the rankings again, and we talked about previous show in terms of how the rankings typically go. With the ESPN list, it holds a little bit more weight just because of the people that are asked to vote. With the other lists that you typically see, whether it's PFF, whether it's NFL.com, Sports Illustrated, those are all just by, not even, I guess they're studio analysts, some of their writers and stuff like that, but not football executives and GMs that are current. What Jeremy Fowler does, he asks current NFL executives in the AFC and NFC to speak on and rank these players. So it, like I said, it holds a little bit more validation to it. It's kind of like how we view All Pro versus the Pro Bowl. So in this list, they ranked the NFL's top edge rushers, because remember we said with PFF, they said edge defender. We was like, all right, you want to go defender, we got you. Okay, you want to pull a little fast one, put Khalil Mack, we'll talk about it, but it is what it is. But this one they classified as edge rusher. And this is where it got a little spicy here, man. So do you have the list available to you?
Yep.
All right. So if you could read off the top 10 first, and then after that, we will give our reactions to, you know, Mr. TJ not being numero uno.
I'm going to go 10-1.
Yeah, I was say, give a little suspense on it, man.
All right. Number 10, Danielle Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Number 9.
Oh, yeah. Okay. It's Danielle, though. The Minnesota cat, right?
I think I got it.
You sure? I thought he pronounced it Danielle.
Danielle?
No, I thought he pronounced it Danielle.
Danielle.
Yeah, because Danielle is Gallinari. I thought that was a shooter for basketball.
He got that O at the end. Danilo.
I don't know, but you could check. I'm pretty certain he pronounced it Danielle, though.
I'll go.
Yeah. You might be right, though.
We'll go Hunter.
We'll say
Hunter. Hunter from the Vikings.
You might be right. All right. Well, Manuel says you saying it right. All right, go with you then. Yeah.
Cam Jordan, Saints.
Okay.
Nick Bosa.
Okay.
49ers.
Okay.
Chase Young, Washington football team.
All right, I like it.
Vaughn Miller, Denver Broncos.
Shout out to Vaughn.
Chandler Jones, number 5. Yeah, did I even say the numbers? I'm just that was 10-6 right there. Vaughn Miller was 6.
Start. All right, I might have threw you off when I was going at the name. So yeah. All right. So you got Danielle Hunter at 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cam Jordan at 9.
Okay.
Nick Bosa at 8.
All right, there we are.
Yeah, because I was saying the name and then their team, not
we
just excluding the number. Chase Young, 7. Vaughn Miller at 6.
Shout out to Vaughn. All right.
Chandler Jones at 5. So we're all caught up.
Okay, we back on schedule now.
Khalil Mack at 4.
Oh, okay.
Joey Bosa at 3.
All right. That's little Joey, right? No, that's Big Joey. Big Joey is...
He's older than Nick.
Yeah, Nick is the little one in San Fran.
Yeah.
Yep.
TJ Watt at 2. And then Myles Garrett at 1.
Interesting. Okay.
You have outrage about this one?
Okay. Can we hear why? Or should we just react? Should we hear why, or do we just react?
Why Myles Garrett?
Why Myles at 1 and why TJ at 2? That's what I need to hear first before I give you my full reaction.
Okay, I'll go with TJ
Let's
first.
see what they say. Because there might be a reason, right?
There's not a category that Watt doesn't dominate.
Okay.
Not only did he lead the league in pass rush win rate, but his 4 pass rush interceptions created tied for first. and his 40 caused incompletions led the NFL by a wide margin. So he's kind of
dominant,
first in
like,
a
right?
lot of these stats right here.
Okay.
Aaron Donald was the next closest at 30. TJ's 15.5 sacks and 23 tackles for the loss led the league. Oh, yeah, Watt can play the run, cover tight ends if the defense needs. Incredibly productive player in every phase. An NFC exec said that. Probably has the best combination of motor and smarts in the league, wins with intelligence, effort, technique, and positioning. All these factors make a compelling case for Watt on the top spot. Some evaluators consider him an overachiever. Truth is...
What? Overachiever? Oh, they sick.
Truth is, he may not be the best athlete in his own position, an NFC defensive coach said, referring to former teammate Bud Dupree. Yeah, I mean...
So what is the knock on him?
I don't know.
Is the knock that he's an overachiever?
He's not the most explosive guy, but he's so damn relentless and smart and technically perfect. I was going to say perfect, that he just wins. He'll probably have a Hall of Fame career for all those reasons.
So, overachiever and not the best athlete is their knock on him. All right. What did they say about Miles?
Isn't that what people said about Brady?
It seemed like, but it seemed like the whole article was a positive as heck about TJ, except overachiever, air quotes, and being less athletic than Bud Dupree, which wasn't anything that anyone didn't know. I mean, we all said Bud's a freak athlete, but he always says the difference between being a great athlete and being a great player.
Garrett and TJ Watt traded first place votes throughout the process, with Garrett winning out based on his magnificent traits.
Question, do they say how many first place votes he got compared to TJ?
No, they
just
said
he won out, but I wanted to know. Like,
they just said his highest ranking was 1, his lowest ranking was 8, last year's ranking was 5. TJ's, it's the same thing. Highest ranking was 1. Somehow his lowest ranking was 8. Like to have TJ and Myles Garrett at 8 for some reason? What's going on?
Oh my God. Just when you think these NFL execs, you can trust them. Oh Lord.
I don't know. Yeah, PFF. Well, I can't say PFF because didn't they have Khalil Mack
rated
over
above
TJ?
Yeah.
They both had him at 2 though.
Yeah.
All right. So asking GMs which pass rusher around. Wait, what? I think there's a mistype here. Yeah, there's definitely a miss. Asking general managers which pass rusher. I can't speak. Pass rusher around which no, we're good. Which they'd build a defense. Most said Garrett.
Moats or most?
Most.
Oh, okay.
Evaluators weren't as sold before last season when they felt Garrett underachieved and would get washed out by a good blocking scheme or seasoned left tackle. He was also coming off a 6-game suspension. No longer. Absolutely made a massive jump last year, a veteran AFC defensive coach said. From a physical standpoint, setting the edge, and as a pass rusher, he's just gifted. He put it all together. He was so difficult to deal with, snap in and snap out. His pass rush win rate of 26.3 last season ranked 3rd among edge rushers despite facing 104 double teams.
That's a ton of double teams.
He won on 15 of those, which is 14.4%, which ranked 12 in the league. Yeah. He led all edge rushers in sacks created, 16.5, a stat that takes into account plays in which his...
What was the stat called? Sacks created?
I guess.
Oh, bro. Y'all, man, what are we doing
They're
here,
making
man?
stuff up.
What are we doing here? Sacks created is a stat now?
So it's probably just his sacks plus like maybe 1 or 2 that he had an effect on. I don't know.
Stop this, bro. All right. I'm with it. Let's go with it.
Takes into account plays in which his pressure resulted in a sack for a teammate. Okay, so that's not including his sacks. That's including
that's what he did for other people.
Just strictly the other players.
Okay.
I mean, how do you gauge that? He caused 29 incompletions. I was
like, what?
4th in the league. Garrett has recorded at least 18 quarterback hits in all 4 of his NFL seasons.
Yo, next thing gonna be hitting you with the stat of, this receiver opened up yards for these players right here. So anytime somebody else catches a pass, if he was on the field, that's a plus for him.
Sure. Built out of a lab, here, 0 weaknesses, power, bend, and speed.
You said 0 weaknesses?
That's what an AFC scout said. Yeah. But that's it. That's it for Myles Garrett.
Okay. So yeah, upon hearing the things that you just said, my feelings have not changed one bit from when you first read off the list. This list is unreal. I mean, I do like the names. I do think that they have the correct guys on the list in terms of how I would view my top 10. I might switch out.
Didn't they have Chandler Jones on the PFF? They had him at like 15 or
correct,
16.
Yeah, I might switch out a couple of the guys' orders just because, like, a guy like Von Miller and Chandler Jones, they didn't play
Maybe
last
put
year, right?
Nick
Because of
Bosa up a
injuries.
little bit.
Correct. Like, I would make moves like that, but I do think they have it right in terms of the top 10 guys. But to me, when I think of TJ Watt, the words that they're using as a knock on him, I look at the opposite way. If you're telling me that this guy isn't as athletic as Myles Garrett, who you said is a perfect specimen, but yet he outproduces this guy, you're also going to tell me that he's an overachiever. Overachievers typically, that's short-lived. These guys been playing for a couple of years now. Myles has one really good year, like how, on par with what TJ done, but TJ's put together a nice body of work here. So even if he's a quote-unquote overachiever, he's been overachieving a lot better than what Myles Garrett has been doing. So even with that logic, I don't get it. Now, if we want to go to the age thing,
it's 1 year.
It's 1 year. 25 versus 26. So that still doesn't hold a lot of weight for me either. I look at it like this, man. The only way that I could put Myles ahead is if I was just basically saying to myself, I'm going to start with one of these two guys, but there is a chance that they could not be their best version, right? Myles, based on his physical appearance, right? The strength, the size that he has, in theory, you would assume that he should be able to do bare minimum stuff out there. Whereas with TJ, he doesn't look as physically dominant. He's not as athletic. So if he wasn't the great player that he is, and we had to have like a bare bones version of TJ, where would that be? But either of those scenarios aren't realistic. That's what I'm saying. It's not realistic. Like, for me to assume that both of these guys are going to play terrible,
you're basically saying like, hey, let's go back and draft these guys. Right. That's why Myles Garrett went 1 overall, TJ went 30. Exactly. But now we're sitting here with all the body of work, and you don't expect TJ to be slowing down anytime soon.
And that's my thing. I'm like, he's not even, I don't even feel like he's all the way in his prime. He's starting to come into it. But to me, man, TJ is he's been the more productive player. He's been the more available player as well. That's another thing that gets lost in this. Now, when I talk availability, I'm always careful with this because with Myles Garrett, based on the amount of games that he's played in, the amount of snaps he's had, if we're talking just productivity on a per play basis or per rate, they're close. Mm-hmm. But Myles has still missed a ton of time, whether it's from injuries or suspension. So I'm not going to use that as a knock on TJ and say, well, their numbers will still be on par per capita or per play when availability is a big deal. If I can't count on you to be out there, whether it's because of injury or because of suspension, then yeah, I'm not going to have this guy rated ahead of the guy that I know is going to give me more productivity, and I can depend on him being out there every single game. Literally, the 2 games that TJ's missed have been when we've locked up playoff spots and he didn't need to go risk the injury. That's it. Myles is not the same. Myles has missed some time. So, and we're not going to get into, whether he was right or wrong in terms of him missing that time from the suspension and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, he did miss time. He has missed like multiple games here. And we've seen that impact that it's had on that defense. Now, both of those guys are critically important to their defense. I would probably make a case that Myles is probably a little bit more important to Cleveland because he doesn't have a Minkah Fitzpatrick out there with him. Whereas obviously we've had Minkah, and then we knew we had Bud for a little while, Cam and two. We know our defense is pretty stacked here. But still, I just can't understand how you would go Myles Garrett in 2021 over TJ Watt. The year that TJ Watt came off of last year. Yeah. If it wasn't for Aaron Donald, he's a clear-cut defense player of the year. You could still make the case that he was the defense player of the year last year. The bigger thing was just...
Yeah, it was probably 50-50. Right,
it was just what's more impressive. A guy doing it as a D-tackle, a guy doing it as an outside linebacker. And that was personal preference. But he was still very much in that conversation. Myles, he's getting there. But Myles, I look at Myles kind of like how we talked about with Tuitt last time. We really saw them come on in a big way last season. But I'm not ready to just crown them off of that one season. Sure. Especially when you're talking about putting them ahead of guys who've done that for multiple seasons now. Because even though it's still a great thing to do, it's a lot easier to do it one time than it is to have to do it multiple times when people know.
Yeah, you've seen it with how many
now. Absolutely, man.
Stuff like Mario Williams, good example. Yeah, with Myles Garrett, I think he was the one guy whenever we were talking about the PFF stuff, we were like, okay, we could kind of see it if you're going to put Myles Garrett over TJ Watt, but we're still for sure going TJ. Now, because with Garrett, he obviously has the upside and the potential, but TJ's stats across the board are completely better.
Yes.
We were more pissed off about them. Like, hey, why are you putting Khalil Mack over TJ Watt? Like, obviously TJ should be one. Now there's going to be guys, and obviously this, that think, if you're going into next season, could Myles Garrett have like a 20, 21, 22 sack type of season? I don't think anyone would be like completely surprised or thrown off like that, where he's like coming into his own. But TJ, he could do that too, and he's on that type of trajectory. He's got the body of work. We've talked about this.
He's flirted with it, right? Yeah, what, 15?
He's 15
and a half last year?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you add the extra game. It's not completely out of question that TJ could do it. But he
does a really good job of getting them sacks in flurries, like two in a sack, or 2 in a game, 3 in a game. Like, he has that as well.
But you add that he's been doing it over the past, what's he been in the league, 3-4 seasons?
Yeah. Compared
to Myles Garrett. I mean, you brought up all the points. I mean, we're Steeler fans. We are going to be a little bit biased, but I don't think it's so far out there to have TJ Watt as number one, especially when you consider he was in the mix for Defensive Player of the Year back-to-back seasons, whereas Myles Garrett missed these games. He's obviously the first overall pick for a reason and has this type of talent. And if you're picking a game tomorrow, you want a guy. All right, if you're picking Myles Garrett, I'm not like going to argue with you about that. But TJ Watt's just put together a more impressive career thus far. Yeah, and he's not slowing down. That's the thing. Like, they're both about to hit their primes. I don't expect TJ to just fall off a cliff here.
I don't either. And I guess for me, man, I don't know. I just keep getting bothered by the overachiever and not as athletic as Bud, like when he was talking about the athletic ability. Because I think of 2 players that I was teammates with for multiple years. Very different in terms of athletic ability, but at the same time, drastically different in terms of productivity. But I would take the unathletic guy every single day of the week.
Sure.
And the 2 guys are this. Mario Williams, you remember him? Houston Texans, $100 million guy, first $100 million contract for a defender. And James Harrison. James was nowhere near the athlete of Mario Williams. Mario Williams is the guy you want coming off the bus first. Similar to Myles Garrett. They come off the bus first, shirt off, man. They look perfect, right? Can't beat them. It's like, oh, man, it's big muscle. I mean, you saw when he came on NFL draft with the suit and all the muscles and everything. I mean, it looked like you when you work out Brad Pitt style. We know this. But the productivity with Mario Williams, right? It never really lived up to what it could have been. It was always like, yo, he's productive, but we feel like he could do way more than that. And with Myles, how many times have we said with Myles, like, yo, he looks like he should be the best player out here every single time, but you always feel like you want a little bit more with him. Then I think of James Harrison. Wasn't the best athlete, worked hard. You call him overachiever, but he overachieved his whole career. So I don't think that makes him overachiever. I think that makes him just a really productive player. But you think about him, right? He was going to win every time. He was going to be productive. Run game, pass game, it did not matter. What can we say about TJ? TJ's not the best athlete. We said TJ wasn't the best athlete in his own position room.
That's why he was. He was drafted at the end of the first round. Like, that's the thing. There's a reason Myles Garrett was picked 1. There's a reason. Where did we take Bud Dupree? Was it in the teens or was it in the 20s?
He might have been in the 20s because I think Shazier was in the teens.
Yeah, Shazier was like 15, I think.
Shazier was like 15. So then Bud was either 16 or 20-ish, probably in that range, if I can remember correctly.
And he slid. Like, people thought he was going to go higher, actually. But yeah, TJ, that's what they were doing. They were projecting him end of first round. And that's what you get, man. I mean, he's just been more productive throughout his career completely.
Yeah, that's my
I like that.
I just don't understand it, bro.
I like that point you brought up. Like, you're putting all this stuff out there. You're putting these gaudy numbers up. Like, who do you want? I want the guy putting these numbers up.
I want the guy who I know is going to produce, who I can count on to be out there every time. Who also, if it is some type of controversy, he's not going to be a hothead in the situation. I've seen TJ in some hot situations, man. As a rookie, he handled it well. That's all I'm going to say. He handled it well. It involved bodily fluids being directed towards him. He handled it better than me. He handled it better than Bud. We was on a different energy. But TJ, he handled it like a professional. And that, to me, I'm like, we've seen Myles in a situation where, right or wrong, who said what? He did not handle it that way. We saw he reacted in that situation, regardless of the instigator. We saw his action after the fact. With TJ wasn't the instigator, and TJ still handled it like a professional. And outside of me, Bud, and probably 2 other players, the details of everything, no one would even see it because of how he handled it. So to me, I'm like, I like that as well. So even with that, I'm just like, how do you have Myles ahead of TJ? I just don't get it, man.
Hey, not the end of the world, because it seems TJ is pretty motivated from the Defensive Player of the Year snub.
Yeah.
posted the Jordan meme.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably gonna ball out. He's gonna get a big contract. Myles Garrett already got his contract. But
Yeah, he did. He definitely did, man.
yeah, I'm not complaining too much. I mean, number 2 is pretty nice. We all agree that he should be number 1. Myles Garrett is pretty damn good, but we think it should be TJ over him.
Man, it's gonna be interesting though when they do these quarterback ratings. I want to hear this. Number 2 is all right.
Oh, I'm gonna be pissed off. They're not even gonna have him in the top 10. I know that for a fact.
No, I'm not worried. I want to see top 15 because the honorable
Oh,
mentions.
they might
in the honorable mentions.
They might not have him at 15. To be honest with you, the way people are talking,
that's
PFF
what
ranked him
I'm
at 6. PFF ranked him at 16. So
I'm interested to see that, man.
I'm desensitized, dude. To be honest with you,
You don't seem like you're desensitized.
I'm ready for the season.
Your whole demeanor just changed when I just brought that up. Like beforehand, when you were like TJ Watt at number 2, I mean, you know, it's all right. 2's cool. Your demeanor when we said Ben, everything just shifted.
Oh, but this is
everything just shifted. I love when I get you like that. I love it.
Think of
Shout out to 7, man.
Think of Minka at 5 though.
Yeah.
Think if we had TJ at 5. That's how I feel about if you're putting Ben in like the team. Like, come on, bro.
Okay. I'm with it. Now,
so it layers to it. Like TJ's only one spot off. We were more pissed off about the PFF because it was Khalil Mack. In this case, like we see Myles Garrett's greatness, but TJ's. I mean, we've said all the points.
Yeah.
We've said all the points.
It's clear. Like it is definitely clear. And even in the chat, it looks like they're agreeing as well. I asked them what they take. Would they rather have Myles Garrett or TJ Watt? Because, like I said, it's a difference of styles of players, and some people do like just the great athlete, the physical specimen who probably has the higher floor, lower ceiling. Whereas with TJ. Or excuse me, I said that backwards. Higher ceiling, lower floor. Whereas with TJ has the higher floor, lower ceiling on him. So just depending on personal preference, how people view him. But it looks like a lot of the people are saying TJ. Richard McKinney says TJ. Call Me K says give me TJ, no doubt. John Doe says TJ also. Anthony Martinez, give me TJ at 1. Now, Call Me K says we may be biased, but it's fair bias.
I do. That's how I felt about Minkah Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
It was like, all right, if you don't want to put him at number 1, whatever, because there's a lot of good safeties here. He's at least in the top 2 or 3. Easily, and that's how we feel about TJ. You got him in the top 2, whatever. At least it's Myles Garrett this time and not Khalil Mack.
Correct.
But still, it should be TJ Watt at 1.
Yeah. And Trina Still Diva says, no question, Trent Jordan Watt. I like that. I'm with it, man. Ooh, I'm with it. And now Still a Nation 412 says Watt will show up in the playoffs very soon also. Because he hasn't had a lot of experience in the 17 is rookie year, and then last season.
Oh, last year was a disaster.
Yeah,
for the defensive line.
Was it.
That was a disaster.
That was it. So, whew. Yeah.
Because I don't remember Myles Garrett really having a game against us last year.
No. I think what was the year? I don't remember.
I'm just thinking in the playoffs.
Oh, I don't remember the playoff
because TJ Watt has had success against the Browns.
The playoff game was so out of control. Like I don't even.
That's, I mean, we got down so much.
It so fast, bro. Like I can't tell you if he was dominant. I don't know. It just them, those guys in the Brown, they just seem really dominant right then, man.
I still didn't. I wasn't believing it too. I was not believing it. We were down we started coming back a little. We had the momentum.
Yeah.
I'll never. Oh man,
it was gory at times, though. Lord, whew.
That was
rough. That was rough at that time. We don't need any more games like that. That, you know what, that, and we said it. We said that game kind of reminded us of, you know, a little bit of that Thursday night one, man, when it kind of got, it wasn't as bad from a scoring standpoint where we just felt like,
when the Mason one?
Yeah, where we just kept like feeling like it was more self-inflicted a lot of the times. So like we gave them their respect, but we said like, man, the snap. Okay, now it's this, now it's that. It seems like we're doing some of this, you know.
We were. I mean,
and it was back to back to back. It was crazy.
The spread was, I think, 6 points.
Yeah.
So right there, you even the
man.
spread right there.
Yeah.
And we did bring it back to, I think it was within 12.
Yeah.
We had the ball and we ended up punting.
Mm-hmm.
But like at that point, if we didn't do the snap thing and we played the exact same way, same shitty way,
right on.
We're only down 5 at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might be a little bit of a different story too with how the Browns are playing and stuff.
Yeah. But it's one of them things, man. We're going to have to figure it out next year, man. We get 2 opportunities at him at least, though.
Yeah, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. I'm not that worried about the Browns, to be honest. I know I said this last year, but I think Baker's going to limit them.
I keep hearing a lot of people are saying another thing, man. A lot of people are extremely excited about Baker.
I know.
And a lot of people are starting to think that 7 is going to limit us, which is unique.
It's a shame.
It's unique. You know?
It's a shame people think that way. I feel bad for them. And that's why I'm just excited for the season to come around because Now I don't have to listen to these crappy takes anymore.
You sure? Because I feel like they're going to keep going, especially this next one, because this next one says that we're going to be hearing these takes all the way at mid-season. Because it's going to be a certain quarterback in the division, not named Baker Mayfield, that's going to be playing so horrendously that the team is going to be forced to bench him. And as somebody already recommended in the chat, you're going to be the quarterback that's going to step in for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So we got to talk, your boy Mike Tannenbaum, man. He did it again. Shout out to Mike, man. He goes up there and he speaks.
might be the biggest Big Ben hater out there.
I'm not going to lie, bro.
He's really putting his name in the hat these past couple years. Really?
Holy
out of nowhere.
Cow, man. I'm over here like, Mike, when did this like disdain for Ben come about? Like, I don't get it, bro. Like, it's one thing to say, all right, I don't think Ben is a top 10 quarterback. I don't think Ben is a top 15 quarterback. You can say that. And we might have our disagreements, but it's still okay. We can respect that a little bit. When you start talking about, man, we playing so bad, you mentioned a mid-season. I'm just like, whoa, wait, how do we get here? How? Brother Deke, talk to me here, man. Talk to me, man. What's going on with your boy, man?
I was going to say, I don't know why he's saying this, but it's media.
Oh, man.
He's probably getting a lot of attention from us at Steeler Nation.
Yeah. So he's taking advantage of it? Is that what you're telling us?
He might. I don't know. Maybe he does feel that way a little bit. Maybe he's just taking it too far. But to say my man's going to be getting benched mid-season is just absurd. It's just completely absurd.
I do not
and
get it
I
at
saw
all.
someone bringing up in the comments, like, I don't know what you're seeing from last year and what points you're bringing up, because what he was saying is like, oh, we were worse than like yards per attempt.
Okay.
And so he said that. He also brought up that Ben's getting older. All the other AFC North quarterbacks are getting better.
Okay.
That's like another topic, but we'll stick with the yards per attempt. He's like, oh, they were 31st in yards per attempt. It's like, dude, we were that way throughout most of the season, and we were 11-0. We still went 12-4 and won the division. And then the complaints that we had about the offense drops, offensive scheme, and then also the offensive line. And my feeling is, I know people can disagree on the offensive line. I feel like the offensive line is going to be improved, so we fixed that. Got Matt Canada in there. Got Randy Fichtner out. Fixed that. Hopefully the drops improve. I mean, that should just be a natural thing with our young receivers. Ebron, I don't know. He might be a lost cause, but
said he might be a lost cause.
Hopefully
he is who he is at this point.
Hopefully Deontay steps up, and that's why we drafted Freiermuth, I guess.
Man. He said it's over for that man.
But he brought that up as a point to like diss Ben.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, dude, we were doing that and still winning games. And whenever Brady's doing these short dink and dunk passes with the Patriot system for how long, everyone's praising him. Like, oh, wow, these guys know how to run an offense. These guys know how to control the clock and win games. We were doing it, and we were winning games. Yeah. Did it go a little too far? Maybe a little bit. But some would point to the offensive line and the offensive scheme. And that's what I think we fixed in the offseason. So I don't know why he's bringing this shit up, because if he's trying to bring that stat into play, and point to like that Ben can't throw anymore, that's not the case either, because I saw him overthrow many people. Now, has he got to work on the accuracy of the field, whatever it is? Yeah, and I think that's going to improve too, because this is his first season coming off of that borderline career-ending elbow surgery. So I don't know where this is coming from. Dude still threw for 33 touchdowns, and we were unhappy with how it ended. Yeah. So like I just don't see it. When we're making these improvements, we're bringing in Najee Harris. Feel like the O-line's going to be revamped. Got Matt Canada. It seems like Ben's all in with that. I just don't see it. We still won the AFC North last year, and we were pissed off. And we tossed the Washington game. The Bills game, we weren't winning that. Yeah. But we still kind of taught. Like, Ben threw the picket before halftime. Bengals game. Bengals game, we lost to, like, let's just say those were 2 losses. But then the Browns game that we lost at the end of the season, we had Mason in. We had backups in. So, like, we could have easily been, like, 13-3, 14-2. That's with us with those self-inflicted things. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just think he's wrong. I just think he's wrong. I think it's a trash take.
Yeah. Well, shout out to you, Brian, as well, man. We appreciate your contribution. And Mike brings up a good point. He says, man, he doesn't think that he says Tannenbaum was the one that messed up the Jets. He was asking questions like, yes, he is that guy.
Dolphins too.
Yeah, Dolphins as well. So when it comes to him and he's talking and making these type of hot takes, Obviously, you got to look at the track record. Track record doesn't speak as well because if I remember when he was down in Miami, was he down there with Tannehill?
I'm not sure.
I got to see
Might have been.
I got to see the timing on that. Obviously, I know he was with the Jets, man, but as a whole, I don't feel like he has the greatest track record as it pertains to quarterbacks. That's my thing, man. So, yeah, I don't feel like Ben is getting benched at midseason. I mean, the only way Ben is not going to be starting this full season if Ben gets hurt, which I don't think that's going to happen either. But yeah, I don't agree with that though, man. Ben is still a really good quarterback. Now, not great, not top 10. You can make your cases and stuff like that. From my perspective,
I feel that way. Yeah.
But for me, when I look at Ben, I still think that he can make the throws that he needs to make. I do think, as we talked about before, from my perspective, you reduce the amount of attempts. It doesn't have to be this crazy hard limit, but you do need to cut it back some so you can get more of the quality reps and not just quantity reps, because that's the thing that I felt like we were getting last year was a lot more quantity and the quality started to really fall off towards the back end of it. So I want to see more of that quality be able to be sustained, and obviously Najee is going to be a big part of that, man.
That's what I mean. Bringing Najee in, because I think a lot of those passes we were almost using as the running game sometimes.
But this is my thing,
and it wasn't good. It's like we need an actual running game.
The only reason I don't have that same level of excitement is just because, as we talked about with the O-line, your confidence in the offensive line versus mine is night and day. Yeah, like I thought last year's O-line, I mean, if both rosters are current as they currently stand today, right? We don't know who's going to get moved around and things like that. But just from what I've seen from a year ago versus the O-line as it currently is right now, I'm not 100% sold that this group is better than last year's group. So that's why for me, I'm still just kind of like, all right, we really got to see if this run game is going to be able to improve behind that line. I mean, we want Najee to be Superman. I hope he can be Superman. I just don't want him to have to feel like he's Superman because the O-line is just, not up to par. So that's the part for me where I feel like we just differ a little bit. I don't think that changes Ben being a good quarterback or not, or Ben getting benched at mid-season. Like, I don't understand where he comes up with that. Like, who are we going to bench him for? Mason? Haskins? I mean, I'm not, and it's not a knock towards those guys, but they're not ready. They're not Ben right now. They might have more talent, but they're not a better player right now. They're not a better quarterback right now. So I don't agree with that.
And the way I'm feeling, I've said this before. I brought up this point before. I mean, we look at Ben's last season.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people in the offseason wanted to write him off. Mm-hmm. They wanted him to retire. The Steelers not renewing his contract.
Yeah.
We saw the same thing with Brady in 2019. We saw the same thing with Rodgers in 2019. They actually had worse stats than Ben. Ben's 2020 versus their 2019.
True.
So, I just don't see if we're making these improvements. We have these weapons on offense. Ben stays healthy. I feel like he still has the arm strength and the arm talent.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why he can't have a big season coming up.
I agree. This is the thing. We will see in terms of the offense is set up. I mean, you have the skill players there for him to have a big season statistically. All those things are there. The biggest thing is, can he do it consistently down the stretch? Because that's what we saw fall off last year, regardless of what variable it was. The play did go down a little bit. And number two, can the O-line protect him? Because if they can't, and we do have to go back to what they said was the reason last year for the short passes, well, then it's not going to matter once again because we still got the same skill players, right? I mean, we upgraded the running back situation, but the receivers are still the same. Tight end's still pretty much the same. If they don't have the time to let him throw a pass that takes longer than 2 seconds to develop, then we're going to be in some issues anyways. So that's the part for me. I'm just like, I'm not sold just yet on that group up front that they are going to provide that. We haven't seen them do it just yet. So that's for me. I'm like, after a game or two, then we might be able to have for me, I might have a little more confidence. I hope it starts like how you feel though, man.
Yeah, we'll see in preseason. We'll see early on in the season. But I think with that running game, man, especially with the offensive lineman we brought in, I think that's just going to have to improve, which will improve the passing game. Just all-around balanced attack. I hope so, man. That's what I'm feeling.
I hope so. But, because, we definitely differed on the sentiment because you feel like the O-line can't get any worse, and I said I feel like it definitely could get a lot worse. So that's what we differ. But
yeah, because he was bringing up losing Pouncey. I'm like, bro, that's probably his time. It's probably some of these dudes' time, like Villanueva and DeCastro. We're bringing these new guys in. Yeah, you don't know what way they're going to go. But, I'm going to trust the Steelers on this. If they're saying we're so focused on the run game, we're drafting Najee Harris. Let's do it then. I think it's gonna be improved.
I wonder which you're more confident, or not even just you. Then you can ask the fans this too in the chat as well. But when it comes to the Steelers, are you more confident with their track record with per se wide receivers, or their track record with offensive line?
Okay. For me, oh man. Okay, so hold on.
See what I'm saying?
No. Yeah. I get what you're saying. My main thing's just I haven't seen us fail yet with Ben at quarterback.
At quarterback, true.
No matter how bad the line was, no matter how bad the receivers were.
Yeah, we're just talking about like in terms of
that's my main thing. But
the reason why I'm asking is because you didn't make the statement that you're confident offensive line because of Ben. You said you're confident because you're going to trust the general manager. You're going to trust the organization to get it right. So we've seen them get it right a lot of times at wide receiver.
That doesn't
right?
have to be completely it.
So, but that's what I was trying to figure out. Like in terms of, are you confident with their track record with this offensive line? Because we saw that 4-year window, right, where they had those guys up front and it was playing well. But we also remember what it was before that.
Sure. I'm just confident that we're going to be better than last year. That's all. Okay. As the receivers as a whole, our ability to replace receivers, absolutely. That's better than the offensive line. But just in terms of last year, I just thought we were so bad that it can't get any worse. That's my main thing. And I do think some of these young guys could show us something. It's not going to be top 10, and I think I said this before, but can we get up to the top 20, top 15? I don't think that's a stretch.
Okay. Now, before we get to all these comments that are coming in
about crazy.
That, yeah, no, they're getting us in. They're getting us in there. But before we get to those comments, man, we got to shout out to Let's Go UW, University of Wyoming. Shout out to them. But Let's Go UW says, real question is, why is anyone listening to an ex-Jets GM of all people? I agree, man. Can't trust these GMs from the Jets, man. The Jets were bad under him, man. They weren't terrible. No, they did. They got pretty bad under him. They did. Yes, they did. So I agree with you on that. But going back to the question about if we're, which one we're more confident in, the offensive line than being able to rebuild that or their ability to just find receivers. Looks like, all right, Thomas Riley starts with offensive line. Jamal Dokes says both, but he's got to go with the wide receivers, though. Mr. B. Malarkey, this brings up a good point for you right here. He says, Ben can do a lot with the terrible O-line as long as we have a dynamic back. Now, that has been the case when he was younger. I don't know if he's going to be moving the same way. We talked about, was it Dallas game? When he went out with the knee for quick, and then when he came back, the moving was a little bit different. You watch him when he was stepping to his throws, especially that Bills game, you could see that he was not trying to really put a lot of force on it. I think did we talk about that on this show?
I was gonna say
I felt like we talked about that as well with his knee.
That's a positive for next season because if he was secretly hurt with the knee,
now come on now, Deke.
I'm just saying,
now, Deke,
he should be healthy.
So I'm just asking you, Deke. Though first your mindset was he was completely healthy. Now you saying he was injured, and you going with that? Like you can't take both of them.
Was
he
completely healthy last year?
I'm just saying you can't be taking both of them.
I'm talking about arm. I'm talking about arm completely. Like his arm strength and everything there. Yeah, he said that. Who knows what he was?
Hey, man.
I'm not making excuses for him. I'm saying that's a positive for next season, though.
I hope
if
so.
that was affecting him a little bit down the stretch.
I hope so. I just can't never trust in them, man. They always say one thing publicly, and then a couple months later, they say something else that contradicts it. I'm like, wait a minute. Y'all telling me he was healthy as ever been? Then y'all telling me this was hurting.
I think they were talking,
they're
talking about his arm. Not because the knee thing, he was dodging latency. Like, they would ask me, he's like, oh, outside of my arthritis or something, it's fine. But, yeah, there were some points where you could point to it. Are we sure he's right. Lower body wise? Because I always thought his arm was completely fine.
Yeah. So, but that's the only reason why I didn't agree with that first comment in terms of the guy saying like it doesn't matter who's up front, Ben can make it. In terms of just being who he is with the dynamic running back. I felt like earlier on he definitely could, but now if that was the case a year ago, because regardless if he was hurt or not, he moved differently towards the end. He did not step into his throws the same way towards the end of that year. If that's still the case, then yeah, you definitely want to make sure he's extra protected. Or even if he can move around well enough, you don't want it to revert back to what it looked like last year if that O-line can't be up to par. So that's why I don't think you could just put whatever offensive line out there. That's why personally for me, I've been more like, yo, you really need to upgrade this thing to protect him, because if he can just be comfortable back there, I think he can still make a ton of these throws and really be surgical with the weapons they have right now. But you're not going to be able to have Ben being back there running around playing backyard football like we're accustomed to from years in the past. I don't think he's going to be able to still do that just health-wise.
I don't think anyone wants that. That's why we're hoping the running game takes off.
But that's why I don't feel like you can do that behind just any O-line either, though. And right now, this O-line doesn't give me, oh, this is elite. This gives me, this is just any O-line. That's the vibes I get when I look at this O-line right now. And that's why my confidence continues to be, what it is right now, because it's just like, that doesn't scream these guys are going to be able to get the job done for 17 weeks as it currently is. I don't. Hopefully don't have to make too many changes, but I just don't think that the starting group that we see in week 1, I don't know if that's going to be it for us. I personally don't, man.
Well, we'll see. I think the lean towards the run game, though, and the players that we brought in, that's what I'm hoping affects it. And this is like the disagreement or the things that we've talked about. Right. I think just by that's going to open up the pass game, get Ben protect a little bit more. We could do some cooler things with the balanced attack.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Man, it's looking like the receivers are winning this conversation, though, too, in terms of which one we feel more confident in this organization being able to replenish and rebuild.
Well, dude, what's funny, and I don't know. Some people may have said this, but I don't think it's a coincidence having been a Hall of Fame quarterback back there for the past like almost 20 years.
Yeah,
I just don't think don't think it's a coincidence, because we saw the season with Mason. We were calling like Juju, James Washington, these dudes like the worst receivers in the league. Then all of a sudden last year.
This is my only thing. Like, obviously the quarterback plays a huge role in it. I just don't feel like we can make it the end all be all, because for every wide receiver that we could say played well under Ben, we could point to wide receivers that didn't play well, right?
I think the only one's probably Sanders, like where he improved with Peyton Manning and Denver. But I will point to it just being different offense. They passed it so much more down there.
I'm not gonna get into that, man.
No, it's fine. We don't. I'm not. I just wanted to make that point. I don't want to take it too far or anything, but like, I do think he's been a big part of our receivers being that good.
It's cool. I think they help each other out a lot.
Yeah, sure. Having AB doesn't hurt.
Yeah, because that's another thing, man. A large chunk of Ben's success has come with AB as well, and we've seen AB do it at other places now. So that's another conversation. But like I said, man, either way, all of them are good. We need them all to work together. But got to have protection up front. And during those years with those receivers, especially during the AB time where Ben really went crazy, he had one of the best offensive lines in the league. Think about that. 14 through 17. That's still his offensive line. That was one of the best offensive lines in the league. Now, they weren't the best because obviously Dallas had that title pretty much secure for the first 2 years, and maybe you could make a case that in the end we might have got him, or Baltimore's in that conversation. But as a whole, the old line was drastically better than what it currently is right now. Now, the beauty is they're gonna get their chance to, make them, make this statement that I just said about the offensive line not being better. They get that opportunity this year, coming up in a couple of weeks, to prove that statement wrong. They get a chance to prove that they are better than that group from a year ago, or better than that group from those years. That's
why we need the season to start.
Yeah, they're gonna get that opportunity,
stop
man.
These trash Tannenbaum takes, and we could get some more clarity. Right. Just not on that type of stuff. Specifically, but also the Steelers stuff, like battles, and
how would you
will
feel,
the offensive line be better?
So if Tannenbaum is correct, would you apologize?
I'm not gonna apologize.
I'll just check it.
I'm not gonna apologize.
If I know anybody that would never apologize,
I'll just say, hey,
you not a apologizer, baby.
I was kind of off on my take. It's just kind of that simple. Man, this is what I think's gonna happen.
I did not think you would even give that, man.
Well, dude, that's what I mean. I thought Ben played well last year, and someone I think brought this up in the comments. I don't think there was anything he did last year to not give him another chance this year. That was my thing.
I agreed. Man, I ain't, like, you heard the people that said he fell off the cliff and all that, and he's done. Like, I'm not there with it. I still think that he can definitely get the job done, but I don't think he can get the job done by himself. And him throwing the ball as much as he did last year, that, regardless of what we want to say, that's quote unquote trying to do it by yourself. He's not doing that anymore. Those days are done. But I do think from, the Najee Harris pickup, that's huge for him. That's going to help him out a ton. But he still has to have that protection up front, man. That's just my thing with him, man. Bro, but Tannenbaum is right, though.
He's not. I'm not worried about it. I'm surely not. I'm actually trying to write up some of my speeches throughout the season of people I'm going to put on blast. That's what I'm thinking of.
I was about to say, because, Lord, I just
look at some of these receipts.
This is a good question right here. Let's go, UW. Also, appreciate your contribution as well. He says, how bad does Ben have to be benched? That's what I'm trying, like, dude, it wouldn't just him being bad. I think it would have to be him being bad and us, like, completely just blowing the season. Like, sitting here like 2-8 or something reckless, and we're like, all right, Ben is looking like he's old and hurt. Let's give one of these younger guys a chance. The season's over with. Like, it would have to be that.
And that's my point. It's
Yeah.
not like Ben's looking like Brett Favre in his
Right.
last year,
I
Peyton
didn't
Manning in his
see
last year.
that.
Dude threw
Yeah.
for 33 touchdowns. We had a shitty line and no
Right,
running
like,
game.
I don't see that part happening, man.
No, not at all. But
Hold on.
honestly, I'm starting to think, though, if he's benched, I'm probably not saying I'm off on my take. I'm probably saying they're wrong for benching. I'm like, no, what are you doing benching? It's not his fault. That's probably what's going to happen, actually.
What if he's had multiple games with multiple interceptions, multiple pick sixes?
That's not happening. Let's not worry about that. Are you thinking back on the Corona League, the Madden League?
You just never know, right? Are we gonna summon Bradshaw? Maybe. Can't do it. I love your pride, bro. I love, man. Hey, nobody stands up for my dog 7 like how you stand up for 7, bro. Like, I've seen his team. I'm a teammate. I've seen plenty other teammates. Even Charlie. Charlie talks about, you hear Charlie. Charlie loves him. Nobody loves him the way you love him, though, man. Like, I don't even think Mike Tomlin, Kevin Cole, I don't even think Mr. Rooney loves Ben. I don't even think Ben's wife loves Ben as much as you love Ben, man. Like, this is so, I hope my wife and my children love me the way that you love them, man. I hope they do.
It ain't that deep. I'm just defending my favorite player. That's all.
Well, I hope that they defend me the way that you do as well. That's cool, though, man. That's cool, right there.
You're saying I'm setting an example for your family.
You are. In fact, when I talk to my family, when I don't feel loved, I pull up clips of you talking about Ben. I got like a little highlight montage.
Why don't you treat me like this?
I got a highlight montage. You see this right here? This is how you're supposed to love. This is how you're supposed to defend. This is how you're supposed to stand up for somebody you care about.
This is after the 5-pick game against Jacksonville. Deke said it wasn't Ben's fault.
Deke said, man, that's on the receiver. That's on the O-line. That's on the back. That's on the defense. I say, Lord, Deke, how that happened, Deke? I need my family to love me like that. That's all I'm saying, man. I don't even think my mama loved me like that. That's a lot of love right there, man. Jeez.
Is that all we got for this one?
I feel like it is, man. But actually, we did have one other comment, man. Steven Rhodes, he said that it's because Ben is your dad, and that's why you love him like that, man.
No, man.
That's what it is,
I'm
man.
just telling you, he's my favorite player as a kid. Yeah. That's all. And I defend him a lot.
Now, Trina still divas with him. She said Big Ben is still with STEEL, her quarterback. And she says, I'm with you, Deke. Ton of exclamation points, man. Absolutely. There we go, man. There we go. Oh, and
Tannenbaum's off. He's off on his trash take. So
I'm with it on that, though. I do not agree with his take at all. But I do agree with the Duke of Dunhurst. He says, Deke and Mr. Moats. Manscaped. I got the Hedge Clipper 6000. I don't even know what that is. I got to get more in tune. But either way, shout out to Manscaped. I just want to say Manscaped real quick, man, because they always show us love, so we show them love. So if you did get that, the Duke of Dunhurst, I hope you enjoy it. I hope it has a cool little light on it, man. But I don't know what that is. But either way, Manscaped. Promo code Moats, 20% off. Free shipping. And Matt McKissick brought this up to me as well. He said that Tannenbaum was the one who actually disliked this video, bro.
You're even saying Tannenbaum.
I am now. I'm going with it, Tannenbaum. Well, because that's the division rivalry for me when I was in Buffalo. Sure. Miami and in New York with the Jets. They ain't New York. That's New Jersey. Only one New York team. So yeah, I don't care about Tannenbaum. I'm good with it. He ain't draft me. He ain't pay me.
He probably did dislike the video.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he probably hated on me too. Oh, you know what? I can't stand you, Tannenbaum. But this is good though, right here, man. This is good.
What's the next topic?
I was trying to see, man. Let me see, because it takes a little bit of time it's like a little 15-second delay. So I was making sure it was all good. All right. So yeah, looks like it is time to talk about something that I love. A little fighting, man.
Oh yeah,
we got UFC 264. Tomorrow night, absolutely, man. But more importantly, we got the main event.
Yeah. Conor
McGregor versus Dustin Poirier. The third fight, the trilogy, going down in Vegas. Whew. I'm excited for this.
What time do you think this thing's going to kick off?
Who? Their fight?
Yeah.
They're not getting in that ring until midnight, bro.
I hope I can catch it.
They are not getting into that ring until midnight.
Because I got a band gig.
That's midnight at the earliest, too. So you might be good.
That's what I mean. I don't know if we're going to go past like 11, even 12. maybe I'll be able to catch it where I'm at then. You know what I mean?
You should. Well, now, this is the thing, though, because it's pay-per-view. I don't know how your situation
That's what
is.
I mean.
Yeah, I don't know if you know, how you go about watching your pay-per-views. We're not going to leave it, we're not going to go into the details of, how you typically do it. But that's the part that you just got to be a little bit cautious of. Because I know I ran into
I got to try to find someone that buys it. That's about it.
Because I ran into that issue when I was that Penn State a couple weeks ago at that golf thing? And the who was fighting? That was the Israel Adesanya versus Marvin Vettori pay-per-view fight. And I remember being like, dang, I'm out. I had to get it on my phone, and it was crazy, but it worked out though. Shout out to technology here. But man, I'm excited about this fight, man. I am. Number one, it's the trilogy. We've seen both of these guys win.
The rubber match.
We've seen both of these guys win in spectacular fashion. Obviously, Dustin with the most recent win where he had the second round TKO of Conor McGregor. That was, 6 months ago? It
wasn't too long ago.
It wasn't even that long ago, yeah. And then, obviously, when they first fought, a while ago, this would have been both of their first UFC fights. So you can imagine how many years ago that was. Conor McGregor obviously knocked out Dustin Poirier in the first round. But obviously, they're a lot bigger now. Obviously, fighting at 155. They officially made weight at 156. So shout out to them two guys for that. But to me, man, I'm torn here. I'm torn. If I'm Dana White, I know who I want to win. You want Conor to win if you're Dana White, because he's already said that the winner of this fight is going to fight Charles Oliveira for the lightweight championship next fight, which is huge. So you need Conor to get back to that belt. Conor gets that belt. That's the money. The UFC machine continues to flourish, and we're all happy. Dustin wins, it still can sell, but it's not the same. Dustin isn't the same level of star as Conor McGregor.
McGregor's the reason I'm watching it.
Absolutely.
I don't even know if I can call myself a French fan. I watch McGregor. Yeah. I watch the big fights, and this is one of the big fights.
McGregor's the reason why we're talking about this on the main show, and I'm not talking about it on my little The Fight. You know what I mean? That's the difference, because it's Conor McGregor here. He sells. He's called it anytime he's fighting, it's the red panty fight, because that means you break out the nice your woman break out the nice draw because you about to make bank. It's gonna change your life. That's
win
what
or
he calls
lose
it.
Doesn't
win or lose, he breaks the bank. That's what he does, and he owns literally all of the pay-per-view rankings. He has all the big gates in terms of the tickets sold, pay-per-view buys. He does that. That's what he does. He moves the needle. But Dustin Poirier. Dustin hasn't lost a fight in his last. I'm trying to think. His last fight was I think the last time he lost was to Khabib. It's been a minute, bro.
And Conor's been pretty much average these past however many fights.
You can make a case that Conor is 0 for his last couple fights, right? So the last fight that he won was against Cowboy Cerrone. Now Cowboy was older. And Cowboy was on a 3-fight losing streak at the time, and then lost again.
Didn't he knock him out in 10 seconds or something?
Yeah, he hit him with the shoulders, and then, disoriented him after he knocked him out. But outside of that, Conor has lost his past couple fights, man. And granted, Dustin Poirier, it was a little bit more competitive in that first, and then obviously in the second, once he damaged the leg, it was over. With Conor, I don't know. Is he slowing down? Because, he was at the pinnacle of this game, man, when he became
is this going to be a Ronda Rousey type of thing?
Right. I don't think it's to that point. Because with Ronda, man, her flaw, it showed in a big way. Her stand-up was just bad. And once they recognized that, mentally, she was checked out as well. Whereas at least with Conor,
he could still fight with anyone.
And I feel like Ronda looked like she was still embarrassed to lose, whereas Conor just chalks it up to the game. You heard when Conor lost to Dustin last time, he was just like, yo, man, it was a good scrap. I got my hits in, but at the end of the day, I have to be in here more often so I could be a better fighter, and that's what I'm going to keep doing. I'm not about to retire. Whereas when Ronda lost, obviously she got whooped up by Holly Holm the first time, and then it took her forever to come back, and she just looked like a deer in the headlights as soon as she got punched by Nunes. It was like, oh, all right, I don't want to be here anymore. And we saw her retire right after that. I don't feel like with Conor it's to that point. I think Conor's still going to fight and still going to give up. It's going to be a good show. The reason what I'm saying with Conor is I think he's slowing down is he's not knocking out guys the way that he used to. He used to have this just one punch ability to just, if he taps you, man, it's over. Right now, we're not seeing that with him, at least these past couple of fights. So if Dustin can make this fight go past the first round and make this fight really become a mixed martial arts fight, that's what I'm concerned about with Conor, because I just don't know if he's going to be able to put him down.
Dude, that first one, Or not the first one.
The one that just happened, yeah.
The one that just happened. That is the interesting thing, because I felt like even
Mm-hmm.
though Poirier got I don't know if you want to call them lucky breaks with him hitting Conor's
Mm-hmm.
leg like that.
Mm-hmm.
Even outside of that, I felt like he was kind of winning the fight. Like
He was winning the he definitely won the first round. I thought he was doing well in the second round up until his leg started to get compromised. But that is a part of mixed martial arts.
Yeah, it is. But do you say that's a fluke or no?
I don't say it's a fluke because John Jones, who's been dominant, that's one of his main things. He will kick your leg until you can't put. And the reason why you do it is Conor's a striker. So as a striker, you're heavy, a lot of pressure on that front leg, because that's what gets you your power when you're transforming your body weight from back leg to front leg when you're following through with your punch. So if I can damage that lead leg, you're not going to step into that punch. Think of quarterback. Ben, step into his throws when he's healthy, it's going to be a rocket. When he can't step into that, it's not going to be it's not going to have that same velocity on it. So you use it to make that striker have to fight a little bit more on his heels. And now from there, you can get a takedown, take him to the ground, and go and so forth from there. So that's why I don't think it was a fluke. I just thought Conor didn't believe that Dustin would continue to do it. Because most fighters, they might kick once or twice and they're going to go back to just trying to strike you and kick you in your chest and face stuff like that. Whereas Dustin, he really took that John Jones approach of, I'm just going to keep kicking his leg then. I mean, Israel Adesanya, he's another guy who does that as well, man. So, yeah.
How are you feeling about the fight then? Because McGregor's actually the underdog
He is a slight underdog right now, man. Which makes sense, though, because Dustin is the hotter fighter. Dustin is the more productive fighter of lately as well. Dustin's been in there with some dogs, and he's come out of that thing, man. Whereas Conor, we haven't really seen him with the dogs like that. Now, he got in there with Dustin Poirier, and we saw how that went. But with Conor, you just never know, because Conor's so dynamic on his feet, man. When he gets to throwing them hands like that, like, he is capable of shutting out Dustin's lights. But Dustin doesn't get knocked out. That's the thing. It's the diamond for a reason. He's called the diamond. Pressure makes diamonds, man. He's not falling off. Like, my man's going to be game for this fight. Now, I do like that we're seeing a little bit of the old version of Conor from the press conference standpoint, where he's lively, amped up. You saw him throw the kick at because we talked about it a little bit earlier. We were just teasing, had it in the background, but he did throw a kick at Dustin during the weigh-in, and I do like that, because to me, when Conor is in this crazy mode, when Conor is on edge, when Conor feels like, yo, I'm like just untouchable, we see him show up and perform in big moments like that. He's a big fighter, like a big fighter. You know what I mean? Like, he gets up for these type of fights. So I do think that could help him, because initially Dustin Poirier said when he lost to him the first time, that's what it got him. He was like, man, mentally, I hated this guy going into this fight, that when we got in there, I wasn't even thinking about my skills and technique. I was trying to kill him. And he got knocked out. Where he was like, this past fight, Conor was nice to him, and he went in there, he was kind of chill. And then after that, he obviously won. So that's the part to me that's going to be, interesting to see, how does Conor do, and how does Dustin handle that now that he's shifted it back to the bad blood, the I don't like you, I'm going to disrespect you publicly thing.
So you're giving the edge. Like, I was going to say, if there's any takeaways then from the weigh-in and what happened earlier today, you think Conor has somewhat of an edge from that? Did you see anything in Poirier where he's like, if Conor, he might have something?
Well, and shout out to the Duke of Dunhurst. He brings up about Conor circling away from the leg kicks. I was gonna say he either has to check the leg kick, circle away from the leg kick, but he has to at least acknowledge it. Last fight, he never acknowledged it. He just figured that, man, I'm going to knock this guy out. And he was landing some really good shots, but Dustin is a tough guy to put down and put away like that. And I just don't think that he really believed that Dustin would keep coming back to those kicks. And when it finally caught up to him, it was too late. To me, if Conor can adjust that part, I like Conor from a stand-up. I like when he's standing up. I think that he's going to cause a lot of problems for Dustin. Now, if Dustin gets him to the ground, it becomes interesting, because we know that's not what Conor excels in. But he has improved throughout, but that's not what he specializes in.
Yeah.
So that's another part of the game where we haven't really seen him get there just yet. I mean, Cowboy Cerrone, we talked about him and his ground game similar to Nate Diaz, but we never saw it get to that point because he was able to knock him out. If it gets down on the ground, what does that look like for Conor? Which Conor are we going to see? Are we going to see him trying to explode off the ground? Is he going to be, just content laying there like we saw versus Khabib? Like, you just don't know. So that's the other element of it with him, man. But if I had to lean one way, I
was going to say, if you're putting money,
if I'm leaning one way, I lean Conor because he has knockout ability. He has the ability to shut Dustin's lights off, and we know that he will hit Dustin. Like certain fighters, we say, man, like if you're watching Floyd, you're like, yo, you're not gonna be able to. He's not gonna never get that clean shot on Floyd. You watch John Jones early in his career, it's like, yo, he never really gets hit. Dustin gets hit. Conor is gonna hit Dustin plenty of times. It's just gonna be, can Dustin's chin hold up, which it typically does, and then from there, has Conor adjusted to these kicks? Because if he's adjusted to the kicks, I do think just by the accumulation, Conor can't stop him. And we've seen him do it before. But if Conor doesn't adjust to those kicks, now you're going to be in trouble again, man.
Does Poirier come in with a nice little counter thing, though, where he's expecting that McGregor is going to be worried about the kicks? Like, then what's his play?
Say it again now?
What's his play then? Conor's really adjusting for the kicks. You got to think coming in that Conor's going to be thinking about the kicks a lot. So you got to have kind of like the counter to that where it's like, maybe I'm not, for this one, I'm not going to be focusing on the kicks as much because Conor's going to be way over focused on it. Like what do you think Poirier's counter is then? It's either taken to the ground or you fight up top, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, you have that element, but also Dustin Dustin has the power to I don't think he would, because we haven't really seen.
Can you do a little fake kick?
No, this is the thing though. I was going to say, like, Dustin has power. Like, Dustin can hurt Conor. We just haven't seen Conor ever get like knocked out, like his lights shut out. But Dustin can still punch as well. Like, this is weird because
I guess he's the number one fighter right now for a reason.
Fighter, right? Dustin, he doesn't get the respect because he's fighting Conor McGregor. If this is Dustin Poirier versus Justin Gaethje, we're all gonna have a different feeling about it. But when it's against Conor, Conor is the biggest athlete we've seen in UFC. Like,
and we just said his last 4 or 5 fights, you're just like, bro, he's average, but it's going off the name recognition.
Because of what you've seen him do in some of these moments where the odds are stacked against him. Like, I remember watching him knock out Jose Aldo, a guy who was a killer, a guy who was the most dominant champion ever. He knocked him out in 6 seconds, one shot. Like, I've seen that. I've seen him bump up and fight Eddie Alvarez and become the double champ, knocked him out. Like, I've seen this. So it's like, man, even when you're like, yo, I can't, man, Dustin's fire right now. Dustin's hot. Dustin can do this. Dustin just beat him. I'm like, bro, but I've seen Conor. I've seen this man with the odds stacked up against him, man. I've seen this dude.
So this is a heart and head thing then, huh?
Yeah, man. I'm just like, certain guys, you're just like, yo, they're going to beat their chest, bite down on that mouthpiece, and he's game for that. Like, that's what he brings to the table. And you know, I'm part Irish too. So, you know, I'm very biased towards my Irish people out here, man. Any of my Irish people in the chat, man, y'all know we got love for y'all, man. Would this be
the fight where that confidence flips, though? If McGregor loses, are you feeling the same way for his future fights? Well, maybe it'll be against lesser opponents. So.
Yeah, that's the thing, too. Like, it's not like Conor's fighting a bum. If Conor loses to Dustin, I'm not tripping. Dustin was the intern champ, and if it wasn't for him fighting arguably one of the greatest, I don't say Khabib is the greatest, but he's one of the greatest. If it wasn't for Dustin fighting him, Dustin would be the champ already. Dustin is a really good fighter. We talked about Charles. I talked about Charles Oliveira and one of his fights early when he won. I feel like Dustin matches up well with him. Like, I like any of these guys. Well, more so Dustin, because Dustin has a little bit more ground. Whereas with Conor on the ground, Charles might hit him with the. And you know my man gonna tap. He will tap that. That's the one thing Conor will do.
So I was listening earlier. Mm-hmm. They took this fight because Poirier could fight.
He could have fought. Yeah, he could have fought for the belt.
But he chose this one.
This is the money fight. He's gonna make more money in this fight than he would fighting for that belt. If this was the next fight. If it was,
what would you have done?
For me,
you got a chance at the belt. You got a chance at the belt or the money.
Listen, I've said this before.
Has he ever had a belt?
He had the intern belt. The intern belt is cool, but it's not the actual belt. So I'll say this, man. When I played football, before I ever wanted to win a championship, I wanted to get paid.
You wanted that second contract.
I wanted the second contract. Like, that was always my mindset. And that's why I always laugh, like, when people, you know, whenever we're critical, or if I'm critical of the Steelers or a Ben or a player, and somebody's like, oh man, you just hate the team and you're jealous you didn't get a Super Bowl. And I'm like, actually, no. Like, when I played, like, I didn't care about that at the time. Like, I still wanted to win. Don't get that wrong. And I still put that work in. But for me, it was about making sure I was going to get money to change my family. You know, that was my biggest driving force. Once I got paid, then it was like, all right, now let's fight for a ring. But that never was this, like, driving thing for me. So with Dustin, you hear Dustin's story.
Is he paid enough?
Dustin's story, Dustin hasn't been paid. Like, no, Dustin got paid nicely when he fought Conor last one. but he hasn't really broke
Why
the
not
bank
double
like
up on that, huh?
Right. This is about to be you thought his last payday was his biggest payday. This is about to be Dustin's biggest payday. So if I'm Dustin, I'm like, bro, that belt is cool and it's gonna obviously come with some things, but what's gonna last longer? I tell you to this day, I know Super Bowl champions that are living with their mother right now. I know Super Bowl champions that have sold their rings. How many times do we hear the stories of Super Bowl champ or NCAA champ and this is their ring pawned off at auction because they don't pay for it? Yeah, if I'm Dustin, I'm not tripping on that, man. I'm about to go get this money here. And if I beat Conor, I know I got to bet. I could beat Charles. So you feel confident either way. But you got to get that check, though, man.
I was going to say, what's his waiting time if he loses then?
Yeah.
You think he's got to win then. He's got to win more fights.
Mm-hmm.
Is it another 2 years before he's going to get a shot at the belt then?
Who, Conor?
No.
Oh, Dustin? If Dustin loses this fight, he'll probably challenge for the belt a year from now. So, because what had happened is this, right? So, in this fight, Conor versus Dustin, they had Rafael Dos Anjos. He was supposed to be like the extra guy if one of those guys missed weight. So what essentially is going to happen is this: the winner of this fight obviously is going to fight for the belt versus Charles Oliveira. The loser is probably going to fight Rafael Dos Anjos.
Where's he at? 2 or 3?
I'm trying to think right now. Where is he? Oh my goodness, I'm drawing a blank on it. I might be able to pull it up. But
I can pull it up.
Like, he's still in that same mix though, right? So what ends up was probably going to end up happening.
Which
this fight,
weight is this?
This is at 155. So whoever loses this fight is probably going to be fighting Rafael Dos Anjos. And that's how they're going to play that. And then whoever wins that is probably going to go and you either get a rematch.
This middleweight? Is that what's considered?
No. This is a lightweight.
Okay.
Yeah.
So hold on, I'm pulling it up right now. Yeah, because this is it. This is all on
Yeah.
UFC. So hold on. Featherweight, flyweight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got it. All
right.
So you got, oh man, where's those? He's at 7.
Okay.
You got Ferguson 6, McGregor's at 5, Chandler at 4,
Mm-hmm.
Darius at 3,
Mm-hmm.
Gaethje at 2, Poirier's at 1, and then Oliveira.
Yeah, you got some options in there. Either like Gaethje is another guy who's going to be in that mix for another fight. You said who else was in there? You said
Chandler, Tony Ferguson,
no,
Darius.
Danush. Was it Benil? Is that Benil?
Yeah.
Danush.
I think there's an I there. I could be wrong.
I can't even see it from
Darius.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, whoever loses this fight is gonna fight one of those guys again, probably. Well, if Dustin loses, he would fight one of those guys. If Conor loses, it's different because he's such a money fight.
He could just keep fighting the
Right,
one or
like,
even the champ, maybe.
Yeah, it's just a weird thing.
Would that have been too much of a step up if he was just like, I want to fight Oliveira?
No, the thing was because
Like even if he loses this, could he have a chance to get the belt?
If it was up to Dana would have done that.
Okay.
But to give a little bit of integrity to the rankings, that's why they can't do it. Because even though we know we're all going to tune in,
for the belt.
right? We know we're all going to tune in for, but it's just like, all right, Dustin Poirier, he's on this fight win streak. Why would you have Conor jump him? Now, granted, for the people that just want to tune in for those type of fights, yeah, you watch it. But for the sport, for the other guys in that division,
Sure.
it
alienating your
kills
audience
yeah.
maybe a little bit.
Absolutely, man.
Because yeah, this is. I'm trying to think what fights I've watched. I'll probably watch 3 or 4 throughout a year.
Mm-hmm.
But there's people that like you. You're gonna
I'm
watch. You're gonna watch
yeah.
every one, so you don't want to turn that off. Where it's just like, oh man, it doesn't even matter. These rankings don't matter. Just the flow, the storylines on a year by year basis don't matter. It's just if you're a big name, you could just fight for the title belt, whatever you want. So you don't you don't want to completely separate that off by those type of decisions.
But you bring us some good points though about that, man. Let's see. Justin Conway, he also says, I bought every Conor McGregor pay-per-view that he sells. I'm with you. I definitely pay for his, man. Him and John Jones are the 2 guys that I always would pay for. And now Amanda Nunes, because she started killing people.
You're saying she's the GOAT?
Yeah. Like she's in that conversation for a fact. It's just the reason why it's hard for me to say one specific GOAT, because obviously you have your George St. Pierre's and stuff like that. And you have John Jones. And with John, it's different because he's never been beaten in the ring, in the cage, but he has had some tests pop up, things that come up, and you're just like, I don't know. It's too many little things surrounding you right now that makes me question, was that legitimate or not? That's the only thing with
Patriots
it,
in the early 2000s.
Like that's what it feels like.
Seriously.
Honestly, man.
You got the Rams talking about it. You got the Steelers. Whenever we were in the AFC Championships, it's like, bro, we were running these plays.
So
that no one knew about, but somehow they knew the exact thing we were doing.
And like, You watch John Jones, he knocks out Daniel Cormier, pops for picograms of, the amount of steroids, like small amount. And there's like, but it was in there. Oh, it shouldn't have an effect, but it was in there. Catch my drift? Then it's like, oh, okay, beat this.
Deflated footballs.
Oh, deflated footballs. Check this out.
All of a sudden, no fumbles.
So you ready for this? You ready for deflated footballs? This is the John Jones version, right? He's supposed to fight. Oh my goodness, I'm drawing a blank on the big Swedish guy. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm drawing a blank on his name. But the fight.
Blachowicz?
No, not Blachowicz. No, this dude, he's not even fighting right now. Oh my goodness. But they were supposed to fight in Vegas. Something happened with his test. They moved the fight from Vegas to California in a span of like 2 days, bro. Because in California, they could still get the fight to go on without him having to be cleared from the Vegas commission. Yes. And he wins the fight. It was nice. It was a dope fight. I'm drawing a blank on my guy's name.
Maybe someone will comment it.
Yeah, I'm about to say, man, because, oh my goodness. Oh, dude, what is his name? Oh, man. It's not Alexander.
So UFC isn't separate from the Vegas commissioner, the states you're fighting in.
It's no different than boxing, right? Wherever you're boxing, you have your boxing commission, but then you also have like the Nevada State Athletic Commission, and they sanction the fights. They basically say, excuse me, from a health standpoint, like, hey, these fighters are evenly matched enough, they can fight. Okay, this guy is healthy enough to go into this fight, he can fight. This person is old enough to fight, they can fight. Those are all the things. So each state is different. So it was times where up until, matter of fact, the fight when Conor McGregor knocked out Eddie Alvarez in New York City, right, to win the belt there. That was the first like MMA fight in New York in like 50 years, because for the longest time, New York wasn't the New York Athletic Commission. They wouldn't sanction cage fights. So even though you can see UFC fights happening in Florida, you can see them happen in Vegas, California, even in Canada and different countries, they could never have those fights in New York until that recently changed. And the person's name that I finally found it, man.
I would have helped you. I just wouldn't have known what to look up.
No, it's Alexander Gustafsson.
Okay.
Gustafsson. That's his name, man. I call him the Big Sweden. I was like, man, I can't remember his name though. But yeah, so they had already fought initially, and John had one that was like super tight. But they were supposed to fight again, and literally like 2 days before the fight, whatever is happening, and then they just moved him. It was like, it's crazy, bro.
And he ends up winning.
Yeah.
Damn,
it was nuts,
man.
bro. It was nuts, man. Yeah. So you can see right there, it's like, we've never seen John lose in the ring, or excuse me, in the cage, but you see these little janky things that happen around him, and you're just like, was that legitimate? I don't know. I can't definitively say yes or no, but that's why I can't necessarily say he's the GOAT or Nunes the GOAT, or drawing it back to Khabib being the GOAT. I wish Conor was the GOAT, but Conor has faltered a little bit too much for us.
Yeah.
So, yes.
So he's got a chance. That was one of my questions. Is he going to be like an all-time great, like number one
in terms
McGregor?
Of McGregor?
What does he got to do?
McGregor is forever going to be mentioned in the pantheon of UFC fighters because he was the first guy to be the double champ. He was the first guy to hold two belts simultaneously at the same time. That had never been done until he did it. He also was he's made the most money in terms of UFC combat fighters, but just in general, he was on Forbes list recently. I know we know a lot of that dealt with him selling his company, but still, like, in terms of how much money he's made, this is the biggest earner in UFC. Like, no one has come close to this. So you talk about money, you talk about history, you talk about star power, calling your shots. Like, when he called that he was going to knock out Jose Aldo in the first round, this is a guy that we had never seen get knocked out. This is a guy that was killing people, like I said, for years. One of the most dominant champs we've ever seen. And for him to do that on that stage, and then you followed up by knocking out a guy that was a bigger fighter than you in New York City, the first fight in Madison Square Garden, like, so he's forever going to be viewed in that conversation. But I don't think, if you're talking about fighting purists, I don't think he's ever going to be.
You think these last 4 or 5 screwed him though? Like, what if he would have retired on top?
I don't think those last 4 or 5 would have screwed him. I think that he couldn't have retired off top. It would have been too short still for him.
Okay.
Like, it was still like a meteoric rise, but it was still going to be condensed, because you could point and say, well, all right, he beat this dude. this guy was probably the better matchup, but because that guy had lost, he didn't have to fight him, and
Okay.
then he never defended any of the belts either.
Like that.
So that was a knock on
that
the work.
plays into account.
Right,
then.
whereas when you talk about John, you talk about Usman, you talk about Amanda Nunes. These people have defended this thing 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 times. Like, that's tough. Like, that's why John is always in the conversation, because how many times he's had to defend that belt, man.
Has he got enough in his prime where he can make these nice runs?
Who? Conor?
Yeah.
Absolutely can. Absolutely.
4 or 5
and he's
years
always
still?
gonna have the star run. He always has a star run. That's the thing with Conor. Conor, man, if Conor, this is the Conor effect. Let Conor knock out Dustin, or just win. He doesn't have to knock one. Just win this fight versus Dustin, and find a way to get that belt versus Charles Oliveira.
GOAT.
It'll be back in that conversation.
Okay.
100% they'll put him
It could
back
be
in
that quick.
100% he'll be back in that conversation. Don't let him knock out both of those dudes. Oh,
Will it be
you
legitimate
wanna
though? Like
it wouldn't be legitimate, but you could make a case for it though, if that makes sense. It's kind of like when we talk about Ben, right? You'll make the case that, hey man, Ben can be a number 1 quarterback if we're ranking quarterbacks, right? We can say how legitimate is it, but you can legit make a case for it. That's how to be with Conor. If Conor wins these next 2 and gets the belt,
I'm rooting for Conor.
right? I know you are. Yeah, but if Conor does that,
I'm gonna be coming in a year saying Conor's the GOAT.
Yeah, so if Conor does do that, then yeah, that would be the case. Like, because you're gonna point to the fact that, well, he did do these things. He left, made that money, fought Floyd, came back, got beat, boom, boom, knocked this guy out who was extremely hot, winning streak, and then went ahead and won the belt again. Oh, that's unheard of. That's crazy. So yeah, if that does happen, then yeah, for a fact, he'll be the guy then.
So you're leaning Conor.
I am though.
I am too.
I am,
I want to see him win.
Yeah, I am. And JB, man,
I think I put 30 on him on the last fight. I was like, oh, it's McGregor. He's gonna win. He lost me $30, but you know what? You always come back.
Fights, man. Got to put money on these big fights. Now it's time to start taking these predictions, man. So I seen Steeler Nation 412. He just put his in. That made me think of it. So man, let us know in the chat, man. Predictions, man. Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier for the 3rd fight. Who gets it done? Let us know.
Steeler Nation 412. Dustin 4th round KO.
Uh oh.
That'd be good if it goes at least over 3 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what.
Anything over 2 rounds, I feel like I got my money's worth. Anything over 2 rounds.
Yeah, what was the last one was in the 2nd round, right?
Yeah. Like a lot of these fights, when it comes to you, man,
Connor's Cowboy one, that was a ripoff.
Dude,
like,
no, but like literally, this would have been Kamaru Usman when he knocked out Jorge Masvidal, Street Jesus, what they call him, right? 5 main event fights, all 5 ended in knockout. I think all 5 lasted less than 2 rounds. It was like 2 rounds or under for all 5 cards, all on the main event pay-per-view. That's when for me, I'm like, I loved it because it was so exciting. It was a lot of action, but at the same time, you're like, bruh, I kind of feel like I got robbed here because I've only seen maybe 2 minutes of actual fights.
Yeah.
that's the other thing with it, man.
People were pissed at me because
Yeah,
I was
bro.
hanging with my friends that night, and I told them, hey, McGregor fight's on. Let's buy it. Let's stay in and everything. So we stay in, and we're watching like the build-up UFC ones.
Yeah.
Finally, McGregor's fighting Cerrone.
Quick, bro.
And they were like,
quick.
"You got to be kidding me!"
So
I'm like,
quick,
"Oh, my
bro.
bad, guys."
So quick. But that's another reason why I do like to go out sometimes when I watch these fights, because it kind of gives me that worst case. If these fights end quick, I didn't pay for it.
Yeah.
But if they do happen to go long, or if they do have an abrupt end, at least there's other stuff happening as well.
Yeah, exactly.
To give you some action and stuff like that, man. So looks like
people are saying Dustin.
Ooh.
We got Jebby Roy.
Okay.
I got to go with Conor, 2nd round KO.
Okay. Oh, see, I saw the wrong Jebby Roy comment. I saw something about his wife. I was like, Lord, why y'all getting on my man wife, man? Jeez, chill. All right, though. Ooh, the Duke of Dunhurst, though. He says he thinks that McGregor will pull off the Nate Diaz style win. Okay. Now, what he's talking about in that, Nate Diaz, when they first fought, he choked out Conor McGregor. 2nd round, rear naked choke, Conor tapped. Now, this is right after we're seeing Conor win, and Conor's supposed to challenge for the, he's supposed to fight up to win that 2nd belt. The guy ended up getting hurt, so he had to take this fight a little bit short notice. Comes back, fights him again. He turns down the title fight. Conor did what Dustin did. Conor turned down the title fight and said, I want to fight Nate again to get my lick back. Ultimately takes him 5 rounds. It was an absolute bloodbath.
Did some people think that Diaz won that?
Some people thought he did. Anytime a fight goes 5 rounds, though, and it's that competitive back and forth, you're gonna get that. So I don't ever like view that as a bad thing. I think that's more so just a salute to the fighters. Like, you want it to be one of those tight, man, it could have went either way. And that's what that fight was right there, man. It was legit though. I could see Dustin. I could see this fight with Dustin doing that as well. I could definitely see that, man. Because Dustin's more than game. Dustin is definitely tough enough. Yeah, I could see that.
Steven Rhodes. Dustin makes Conor tap.
I can see that too, because Dustin on the ground is way better than Conor on the ground. Conor on the ground, that's his biggest flaw right now.
Dustin gonna knock your boy out, Dana. This is from Bat 300.
Dustin has the power to do it. I just personally don't think that
Dana White knocks out Dustin.
He would, because he needs Conor to win. I'm telling you, man. Dana will be praying to whatever he believes in tonight and tomorrow leading up to that fight that Conor McGregor wins. Because he knows if Conor wins, you know the little memes you see the dollar signs popping in the head, like that's all he's gonna be thinking of, because he knows, we've just broke the bank. Like, it's over. Conor's fighting for the belt again. Just him fighting for the belt. This fight is massive just because it's Conor fighting again. Let it be for the belt next time? Oh my God. Bro, so that's the part that is different.
Deke versus Jake Paul.
I used to say I would like you in that, but I done seen Jake kind of touch some people now, man. So
who was his last one?
His last one?
Askren.
Yeah, Ben Askren. Yep.
Did you see some of those? I'm not even into it like that, but his interviews were hilarious afterwards. He's like, I got paid more with this than any of my other fights.
No, because that's the knock on UFC. That's why a lot of the people, like the fighters, they started to get pissed with Conor, because Conor this is before they made the shift to ESPN. Conor made so much money with pay-per-view that the amount of money he would get before he even had a belt like that, compared to some of these champions who've been fighting forever, it was 3-1, 5-1 at times. And they're just like, who is this little Irish cat coming in here talking greasy to every single body and making this type of money? But that's the difference. You know what I mean? And then when he did the promotion with Mayweather, it just took it to a whole nother level, man. So yeah.
Gotta sell your fights better, that's all.
But it was perfect storm. And Dana, you could see the promotion engine behind it. And that's why
he wasn't as focused on other people.
And that's why a lot of the guys would call Conor Dana's little baby. That's his little, he's promoting him, he's saving him, he's putting him in these favorable matchups. And then Khabib would be pissed because Khabib was like, I'm beating everybody, So they would that's what they would have.
I never heard about him until the Conor fight, but
they went and promoted.
He was undefeated.
Dominant. Bro, you watch his fights and it was almost boring. Think Floyd Mayweather.
Oh, that McGregor fight was terrible. It
reminds you of Floyd Mayweather. All right, this dude just can't get touched, and it becomes to the point where you're just like, well, I'm so bored with it, I just don't like watching you anymore. So you would watch Khabib, and it's like, because he could hold a grown man down and just punch him whenever he wanted to. Dude's just like, I don't want to watch this anymore. Yeah,
that's what it was. It was so boring. It was like, you're beating McGregor because he can't get up on the ground, but this is terrible for TV.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, now Eric Hargrave says he's got Conor with the win in under 1 minute. If Conor does that, I can assure you, Dana White. But what I just said, he might die from just the thought of how much money he's gonna be able to generate off of Conor. I don't think you understand. You know, you got that golden piggy bank that you walk around. That's how he looks at Conor McGregor, bro. The promotion that they put behind him is insane, bro. Insane. But that's why other fighters get mad. John Jones, he was another guy. He was pissed because he's like, I'm way better of a fighter, way dominant, have lasted way longer. But the promotion behind John is nowhere near the same. Now, it was nice when he fought Daniel Cormier the first time, because they had the bad blood and they really hated each other. But once those storylines ended for John, the promotion behind him ended as well. It wasn't the same, man. So that's the part with Conor that he's different, bro. He's different, man.
I'm excited for it. Hopefully I can check it out.
Yeah, man. But woo. It's a good little mix, but it looks like, man, I feel like they liking Conor in here, man. They're confident in Conor, man.
Yeah.
Dude, man, I feel like I'm gonna have to start. Man, I'm gonna go live next time I do one of these fight breakdowns, because I'm seeing people bring up Sugar Shane O'Malley. I'm like, man, I love Sean O'Malley. He's on this card as well. That's the guy with the crazy hair that you asked about.
Yeah.
Man, he's another one of those up and coming guys that if he can put together a string of wins, he's trying to do the Conor thing in terms of how he sell the fight. He's very charismatic. He's a very just dynamic game fighter, but he's still young, very inexperienced. That's another guy we got, man.
That's a good point because I recognized him whenever we pulled up the cards. I was like, I've seen him on videos or something with his hair and shit. Is he actually good? And you're saying like he's legit? He's legit.
He's just young right now, man. He lost one fight, but the joke with him is he always says he's undefeated. Every time they read off his record, he's like 0 losses because when he got beat, he got hurt in the fight. He hurt his ankle.
And it had nothing to do with the fight.
Right. Yeah, it was just here. He got hurt. He like literally he was walking in the ring. And like rolled his ankle. You can see it like roll over. Really? And from there he's like limping. Then after that he goes down. He's just kind of like covering up. So that's why he's always like, I ain't lose. 0 losses.
I don't blame him for saying that. Yeah.
But she's like, so it's funny, but he's still really good, but he's young though. That's the thing. So he hasn't really been tested yet, but in the fights that he has had, he's looked really good, man.
This is just the next step for him. This one.
Well, no, this would be an easy fight for him.
Man. Oh, it is.
I mean, he's fighting dudes making a debut, so this should be an easy fight. He should look great in this fight. He should knock this guy out.
Then what's his next one?
Well, that's the thing. If he can get this knockout right here, then the next one should be a little bit of a test for him.
Okay. Yeah, where's he? Is he ranked somewhere?
He might.
Is he like lightweight or something?
Barely ranked. I don't think he's ranked though right now. He's still young.
What would he be in? Flyweight?
Yeah, he's little dude, man. Because he fights with like Cody Garbrandt and those guys.
Okay, where's Garbrandt at? I'm not.
He's a little dude. Actually, no.
There he is. Yeah. Garbrandt. He's at 5.
He should be.
I'm not seeing him in there.
Yeah, so he might not even be up there then yet, man.
Yeah, not seeing him.
Yeah, so he's a young dude, man. But I was saying though, man, man, with some of the fights, man, because I like talking about this just live like this, man. This is organic. I'm digging this scene here, man. I'm gonna have to look into this a little bit more, man.
Is a watch party too much for sure? I'm not putting any pressure on you, but
no, it's not too much. No. But like, I'm that's what I'm saying. I'm like thinking of those type of things because I'm really
you want to react to O'Malley.
Absolutely, like I like that. And then the Gilbert Burns, Stephen Wonderboy, like that's a good fight. Greg Hardy, former NFL player. That's a good, like, I want to see that fight. And it's good to talk about, but obviously I don't feel like right here, man. It's because this is heavy UFC stuff we're going to be getting into with that. And I don't want to bore everybody else with that. But I did get asked by Eric Hargrove, Moats versus Ocho Cinco. Huh.
I got you, dude.
I appreciate you on that, man. I will say that I'm glad that he said Moats versus Ocho Cinco because it just reminded me of Greg Hardy, right? Greg Hardy said something about one of my boys. So he's doing his lead up interview and he says, I really hope I can get this win. He was like, otherwise I might go out here and fight one of these fake heavyweights like a Ocho Cinco or a Sean Merriman. Now, Sean, that's my dog. That's my dude right there.
Oh, I forgot Ocho Cinco. Yeah. He actually fought. You said he was good.
Yeah, he looked good. But he was only boxing though. Greg is talking about MMA.
Okay.
Now, Greg and Sean have went back and forth before on their MMA talks. Sean does MMA. He started his own little promotion company. He has fighters that does that. Like he trains all the time in it. I was like, yo, but Greg definitely name dropped him in the UFC promotion. He was like, yo, I would love to fight Sean Merriman. I'm like,
wow.
And I literally went on my boy page because Sean, he was up there. Because obviously, Sean ain't gonna let that slide. He's like, bro, what? And he's talking crazy. I'm like, Sean, I got you, man. He's like, yo, I'm with it. I'm like, all right, if y'all fight, I'm there. I'm just throwing it out there.
That'd be sick.
Yeah, but I'm cool on my fight game, man. I'm chilling. Debo versus Moats.
Wow.
Hey, I will say this, ladies and gents. I ran up on Debo before. I've done that. And Trina's still Debo. I appreciate she says most of his big guns. I work out every once in a while, guys. Every once in a while, right? But I ran up on Debo before. We've had our little, to see who's the real alpha. You notice I don't really run up on him anymore. I just say, you got it, bro. It's all love. Everybody has to go through that. We, as athletes, when you become the big dog in the room, you feel like you smell it a little bit. It's happened multiple times. I told you about Cal Williams, right? I came in here last fight. I said, man, Cal was that dude who humbled me because I felt like I was that guy, and he had to let me know I'm a grown man, and your name is Arthur Nathan Moats III. It's different. I said, you know what? I agree with you on that. Another person that did that for me, Mario Williams. I said, oh, Mario, you got 100 million. I don't care. What's good? I said, okay. My name is Arthur Nathan Moats III. You're Mario Williams for a reason. I got you. So you can only imagine. After I signed my contract extension and I'm feeling really good because now I got my money. Now I'm feeling like I'm the man. The team is backing me on this. I said, all right, Debo, we got to go. I got to try it. I got to,
What'd you do? This is actual fighting or you box a little bit?
We call it just a tussle. Okay. It's no punching. Like we're not trying to punch her in the face, but like, You tussle and you can feel like
Who's got the greater strength?
right, if me and you tussle right now, one of us is gonna have that feeling of hopelessness.
Right.
And whoever has that feeling, you know that, hey, all right, you the beta and that's the alpha in this scenario, okay? So for me, it's only been a couple of times that I've had to feel like that, but Debo was one of those guys, man. So yeah, I'm not worried about that Debo fight. I don't want my rematch. I'm cool for right now, man. I'm gonna wait till he ages out. That's what I'm finna do.
Okay. 'Cause what you're around 10 years back or 7 or 8?
Wait, because
Younger?
how old is he right now? 38, 39?
Oh, he's got to be almost 40.
Oh yeah, he probably got me 7-8 years now.
I'll
Yeah.
check. I'm saying
Yeah.
40. I'm saying 40. Actually, I'm saying 41 if I had to take a guess.
Yeah, let's say he you know, it was a little
43.
different.
And we were legitimately talking about him coming back last year. Remember that?
43.
Yeah, he just turned 43.
God. Oh, you're right, because his birthday is in off. It just was it June, right? It's in
May
June?
4th. May the 4th.
Oh, 4th of May. Day going
Star Wars Day.
Oh, you're right. I totally blew it. You're right. But no, that is funny though, man. But yeah, he was that one for me. I was like, okay, all right, because like Timmons, Lord, that's my dude. I'm like, you know, let's have a little fun. I felt good. I was like, all right.
Yeah, Timmons.
I felt good. Shay, I felt good. Good on that. Cam, nah, Cam, cool. But I said Cam is because you big. All right, I got it. But Debo was the one that I really thought
the PA commission wouldn't let you and Cam on.
Yeah, that because it's like the weight difference. You had me like 100, especially when I was playing. I'm like, yo, she had me. I was way too little. But Debo was the one because I'm lifting with Debo. Like I'm feeling strong like Debo, and yeah, I realized I'm not Debo.
Bud, he not getting involved.
No, well, the thing with Bud, we would always laugh. We said with Bud, it was kind of like the Eddie Murphy, he did the stand-up, right? Back, it was a while. I think it was Delirious. He's talking about Mr. T. He's like, yo, I ain't scared of Mr. T. Mr. T coming here. Whoo, I pity the fool. And he was like, man, I use one of them Jedi mind tricks on Mr. T. Man, you ain't mad with me. You mad with yourself. Yeah, I'm mad with myself. Ooh. I was like, well, Bud was crazy strong. But, man, Bud, he ain't know anything. Like, man, it was... Bud get balled up, bro. Bud a beast, though. Well, you can get Bud. Yeah. Bud don't do all the other wrestling stuff, man. So, yeah. Well, that's my dude, though, bro. That's my dude.
I got a couple stray comments that I found.
What you got, man? What you got?
So
I know we did have some color as well. I felt like I did not see him at the time.
I think this is the most recent one here.
Okay.
Or actually the furthest one back. We might have one or two since then. But we got Myron Bennett. Going to be in Pittsburgh for the first 2 days of training camp.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
Any suggestions on what to do in the city while there?
Well, you definitely got to go to the Strip District, man. I would say that is, I mean, number one, is free. It's usually where it's always jumping at, though, in terms of game day or just being around the game day atmosphere day before and stuff like that. Obviously, you got Permanis down there.
Sure.
Definitely got to hit that's the OG Permanis down in the Strip. And also Pamela's. Get you some breakfast at Pamela's, man. Yeah. That's a vibe right there. That's what I would recommend. What you got for him, man?
Yeah, those are good picks. I don't know, maybe go up Mount Washington, taking the view of the city.
On the incline, yeah.
Yeah, you'll be able to see it from Heinz Field once you're in the city. It's just like this big hillside across the river. You take an incline up. But it's a really cool view up there.
Still a Nation 412 said Southside. We said
Southside. Yeah, hit the south side up. And I don't know what it's like. I don't think I've really been down there with COVID like that.
No. What's your age group? Like, because if you go on the side, like, what you looking for? Because I was down there for the fight.
Yeah.
It's still Southside. Okay. COVID and I is still Southside. So,
I've only been down there once or twice, and it was after a golf round. We went to a bar, and it wasn't like it was a night
Southside
out.
Later at night. It's more of the, it's the college. Well, not even. Well, yeah, it's still more college club scene. You have some. I mean,
you get a mix of everything. I think.
But 30 is probably like the oldest you probably see down there, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
Whereas I feel like if you're going more towards like the North Shore area, you'll get like a little bit of the older, more mature crowd. Southside, like it's
unless you're going to Tequila, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Tequila, yeah. I don't know. I think
Howl at the Moon? That's another one.
Yeah, that's over like on Penn Ave, right?
Yeah.
I think you got a mix of all these different type of bars because there are
Southside, man. My man Still Nation says Southside is a firing range at night. You're right. Like I don't.
He said he's 24. So yeah, Southside.
Well, Southside be perfect for you.
I actually do both. I'd say Southside and North Shore. North Shore's got some good spots right now.
And North Shore's a different vibe too. Like you can enjoy both of them, but just know like the Southside, and we're not bashing it. Southside is a ton of fun, but it's just a younger crowd. So younger crowd with alcohol, you know how they get turned up a little bit. But it is a vibe. Like I said, I was just down there. Was that 2 weeks ago?
Dude, and
Was that 2
sometimes
weeks ago I was down there?
sometimes down south side, man, like
Yeah.
you go in some of those, but like the really popular spots, you're like, why the hell am I even here? I can't even move around.
Yeah, it's like
it's
way
so
too
loud,
crowded, bro.
Like you,
Yeah.
I don't know. Some people like that. Some people, I guess,
Well,
just
I tell you, like,
that's not me though. I
some of the
want to
dudes-
leave,
Yeah, some of the dudes I was with, I'm like, I like to be able to like move around. I don't
move,
wanna
and
feel
actually
like,
talk to the person you're
or
next
feel like
to.
I'm being stepped on. I don't want to get stepped
Yeah.
on. That's one of my pet peeves out there, man. Yo, they crazy. They try to send my man to these spots. So to McKee's Sports. Send him to the Rocks, man. Go to McKee's Rocks, watch this game, bro. You be straight.
Deke versus PFF.
Oh, we might need that. We might need that.
I can maybe take one of those analysts, huh?
I feel like you should, bro.
I feel like I could. I'm not a fighter though. I
want to see
how much money am I getting?
I want to
actually?
see
you know
you versus
what?
McAfee, man.
Oh no way.
I want to see you
He spoke me.
You sure?
Yeah.
Yo, I don't know.
He's way bigger than me. He's got to be like.
But he was a punter though. Punters aren't like that though, man.
Dude, I ain't built like. I'm trying to lose
So
weight.
I ain't built like that, man.
I'm trying to lose weight.
Bro, imagine if you visit Mars first. That's gonna take some of the pain away. And now when you're there,
Performance enhancer.
you're more relaxed. All right, you're gonna be more loose. You're not gonna be thinking so much when you get in that ring with them. And then from there, you can take advantage of them, bro. I like this, man. let me get Deke versus good old Pat McAfee for the brand one time, man. What's up?
I don't know if I could do it, dude. He's trying to buy the Pirates.
Now Jackson just said give Deke 3 months. He's taking Pat's head smooth off.
Wow, they're throwing me against Coward now and Skip Bayless.
I love you versus Skip too.
No, he beat my ass.
Skip that dude, bro.
He
Skip,
beat my ass.
You see Skip pictures with the shoes?
Yeah.
He's like, I can't lose with these on.
Yeah.
Like, yo, you're crazy.
Yeah, I'd lose against Skip.
Dang.
You know what?
Taking Pat? How you gonna take him?
Someone's saying Tannenbaum. Me versus Tannenbaum.
Wow.
Might have the speed on him.
I don't know.
Tannenbaum.
I don't know.
He'd knock me out with one punch.
I was like, damn, he might get you, man. I stay away from that one, man. Stay away from that one. I don't want that one.
Man,
this is funny though, bro.
that'd probably go wild though. You
Yeah.
want to talk about pay-per-view and shit. Me versus Tannenbaum.
Hey, man. So look, this is what we're gonna do then. Bringing it back. When Greg Hardy wins this fight, he fights my boy Sean Merriman. I'll call up Sean. We'll have him on the podcast. He'll lead up, give his talk trash. And then from there, while he's announcing the card, he'll also say that, look, man, we got a special fight. Deke versus whichever one of these guys we want to name off, man. And that'll be the undercard, the co-main event.
Right now, I
that
only want to
fight,
face
bro.
off against Tannenbaum. Any
So-
of these
so
other guys,
They
I'm not
said
feeling
Deke
it.
versus Ben Askren. That's the dude that Jake Paul just knocked out.
No, I wouldn't do that. I think he's hilarious, actually. He's smart as hell. I got no reason to fight him.
That's what, hey, man. You got to get you one of these though. We're gonna have you on the undercard. So Sean Merriman versus Greg Hardy. You're the undercard. I'll do commentary. I'll do play by play.
Sure, yeah.
That'll be my
I could
job.
use that.
Yeah, I like that.
Probably motivate me, amp
That'd
me
be a
up a little
vibe,
bit.
man. That'd be a vibe.
You got to be a little biased though. I think.
That'd be a vibe. Deke versus Mark Madden.
Like even Mark Madden would beat me. I think. I'm not a fighter, dude.
You're a lover. We know this. Deke.
Yeah, I'm
we know
not.
this.
I don't think I could fight anyone, to be honest with you.
Oh,
Tannenbaum will be the funniest one, though, I think.
nah, that would, bro. That would. Now they said they got the Rocky Deke skit loaded. That would be pretty funny. I could be your trainer, bro.
See, that's the thing. I think there needs to be a fight, though, if we're going to put in the effort for that type of video.
Well, worst case, we could just call up. Somebody up here always wants to fight you, anyways, right?
Yeah.
So we just call him up, and then y'all get the fight, and we good.
We could do a Madden match, maybe.
Okay.
Madden match against one of these guys. And we could
Alright.
do like me training for Madden
Okay.
and what.
We got some
Because
flexibility.
that's more doable.
We got some flexibility. As long as somebody's cutting an eyebrow off, that's all I care about.
Because I got people in my comments sometimes are like, hey, you got to face off some of these haters in the podcast.
Dude, they just said you versus Cam Kennedy. You versus Cam Canada. Cam Kennedy. Excuse me. I'm butchering his last name right now, man.
He beat my ass, too.
And Cam's the home. No, Cam. Yeah, Cam. That Cam will get you, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. That Cam, man, he's not built like your normal long snappers, man. He puts time and effort into that, man. So be careful. Be careful. But no, I gotta make sure I get back to these other comments that
I just
did
see one
some
more.
color ones. All right. Oh, Michael. This one, Michael Patrick McCracken.
Yeah.
Appreciate you as well, man. But he says that he's Irish. He says Irish. I were your realtor. Irish where you were. I wish I were your realtor. Hashtag. And then he says, keep up the good work, fellas. Man, I butchered that all the way through, bro.
I guess he's in real estate.
And I guess he's Irish. He's an Irish realtor, which makes sense with the last name McCracken. which I absolutely love, man. So shout out to you, my Irish brother. Yes, indeed, man. Because like I said, I'm part Irish, man. I got my ancestry.com and my DNA resource back, baby. I am Irish. Yeah. I can't wait to watch my Irish man win, bro. What would you? Oh, y'all wild. Y'all are wild. See, this is why we can't take y'all nowhere, man. This is why we can't take y'all nowhere. We let y'all start just chatting up and just saying whatever, and then before we know it, y'all just putting all Lord have, bro, come on, man. Why we gotta do that?
Wow.
Anywho, this has been a blast, bro.
It's
been a blast. It's been a vibe. We appreciate y'all. From the heart we do, man. Enjoy y'all weekend. Man, I might need I ain't gonna do no watch party. I might think about it though. But anywho, we appreciate everybody that's been tuning in today, man. Hope y'all enjoyed your show. Hope y'all enjoyed yourselves. Stay safe this weekend. And until next time, baby.
Peace.